Yo. Oh, we got Apex ready. Ready. Hey. The fuck's going on up there?
He does, yeah. I asked him where. He was based in LA, but he says it's all over the United States mainly.
Wow.
And as soon as I met him, he took out his gun and he said, "You guys, if this is a fucking setup, you guys are all. It's going to be really easy to kill you all right now." And it was me and 3 or 4 other people. And my fear, we told him it's not a setup. Because I just came here because I trust my buddy, but you don't fuck me. If the police shows up, you guys are all dead. So we're in a corner of LA, close to downtown, and I'm constantly looking at the end of the road thinking if the police shows up for any reason,
Right.
he's going to think it's us.
Yeah.
And this is not good. So, yeah, it was a quick interview, but a chilling one.
How many people has this guy whacked?
He said more than 10. He didn't say exactly how many. I asked him. I also started asking him personal questions about, do you have a family? Because he was saying he doesn't kill women or children. I asked him, but do you have kids? And do you realize, like, what would it be like for your kids to live without you if you're doing the same to other kids, right? He got really mad at my questions and said, don't fucking ask me emotional questions or something like that, personal questions. And this interview is over. And left.
What was his background?
He said he came from a really tough family, and that involved in drugs and guns and all of it. And he, I think, realized early on that he could do this, and a lot of other people can't. And he was able to do it, and he gets well paid, and he does it.
How does one even apply to a job like that?
Yeah, and that was my fear when we started looking into this story, because it's a little bit of a Hollywood myth, right? Like this doesn't really exist. And all those stories that you can go on the dark web and find an assassin, most of that is bullshit. So that was my fear. But I do trust this contact, and we actually then ended up going to South Africa, that has one of the highest assassination rates in the world, and spent time with a bunch of different Inkabi, which are, as they are called in South Africa. And that was fucking crazy as well. So we spent time with one. His name is Jojo, young guy, and his story is insane. And that he was a lot nicer, a lot more approachable, but has killed like over 30 people, and gets paid $1,500 per hit. And thousands of people have died in just the past few years at the hands of assassins in South Africa.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of it happens in the taxi industry.
Oh.
So there's like 70%, I think, of commuters in South Africa commute on these taxis. Basically, it's like these vans, and they're worth a lot of money, and it's sort of a cash business. And the owners of these taxi companies are routinely being killed. So we spent time with the taxi owner who owns one of these companies, and he had a bullet from my AK-47 on his head that he showed us. It was a $1 million prize for anyone who killed him. And this is a crazy guy. And his rivals were just across the street with all their taxis, the other company that he says are trying to kill him. So he's surrounded by bodyguards with AK-47 at all times, AK-47s at all times. And he was like, "Do you want to go across the street with me and film me as I get close to the other guys and see what happens?" Like, sure. But we start walking towards the rivals, and immediately there's a group of heavily armed men walking towards us. Immediately, within like seconds. And this happens every day. Like, people are killed every day. So yeah, and then back to the assassin.
And they don't have a hard time talking to you about this. I would think that there's no upside to them discussing this with you, but potentially they could get caught.
Yeah, we go through a lot of, to make sure that we protect their identities.
You dropped without me?
But I think Jojo, this assassin, is a good example of why they talk to us. So we spent an hour and
You
a half,
hot dropped
almost 2
alone?
hours talking to him. And he tells us the story of how he became an assassin. His parents were killed when he was young. He was like 9 years old or something. He felt like he was left with no protection. He started carrying a knife. And his parents were killed by an assassin, by the way, as well. And then eventually he got involved in the drug business, and then eventually people were paying him much more money to go out and kill. And he says, yeah, at the beginning I had to get drugged and drunk to be able to do it, but now I'm used to it. I'm cold-blooded, and I'm used to it. And we started talking about the cycle of violence, right? Because he also said he doesn't kill women and children. And I asked him, "But do you realize that you are traumatized from the experience that you had, that your parents were killed, and now you're doing the same thing to other kids?" It's like, I actually never thought of that. And then he started talking about how he really wants to quit, and he's been thinking, but he can't get a job, and all of that.
Opening fire on the enemy. Champion more friends are coming to kill us. There's another squad.
And then that's the man, and then the stuff. No. Sorry. I don't think I've ever seen that You somehow turned that into like a lower back lift. Sorry for laughing. What was that? Autopilot.
Senator Chuck Schumer, who has long been kind of a hall monitor whenever it comes to substances that people may be enjoying, say, Four Loko, which was certainly quite a bit of fun. That was
Barely knew you, Four Loko.
I barely knew. It was actually banned my freshman year in college, which we will never do. Those of us who were in a fraternity at that time. Chuck Schumer now returning to another fraternity, I guess, substance of choice, which is Zyn, calling for a crackdown and a pouch full of problems. Here's what he had to say.
Pouch packed with problems. High levels of nicotine. So today I'm delivering a warning to parents because these nicotine pouches seem to lock their sights on young kids, teenagers, and even lower, and then use the social media to hook them.
Uses the social media to hook them. I'm not so sure about that one. Zyn, for those who don't know, is like the oral nicotine pouch. It was developed, after many of the cancer problems came to light around chewing tobacco, smoking, etc. And there's actually been a real resurgence, I would say, in nicotine usage these days because they've been able to disaggregate it from, tobacco and carcinogens, which are in that. It has led to a lot of really interesting discussions. If people are interested, Andrew Huberman did an entire episode on nicotine. There's been a lot of discussion about the nootropic effects of nicotine. Again, if you are able to look at it in a synthetic form, which is, actually has quality control and all that stuff behind it, as opposed to inside of a cigarette, which is addicting you to smoke. I think there's a legitimate, conversation, I think, to be had around all of that. But culturally, this one is very interesting because clearly they've touched a nerve. This very much gets to some of the barstool conservative ideas and things that I've put out before here on the show. For example, one congressman actually tweeting out, quote, "Zyn, come and take it," in the same way that we have the "Don't Tread on Me" flag and other things. What do you make of this, Ryan? Because what fascinates me is Chuck also wants to legalize pot. So how can you be for legal weed and want to crack down on Zyn nicotine pouches, which already, I believe in the state of New York, you have to be 21 years old or older to buy. I know at the very least, wherever the places I buy from, you have to be 21 years old or older in order to be a consumer. And these people are pretty religious about checking it. So, I mean, this idea that they're being targeted towards children and all that seems ridiculous to me. You could make that case for Chinese vapes, for what are those called, the health bars, stuff like that. Yeah, maybe. But even then, I wouldn't necessarily say that you should ban it. Although it's probably way less healthy to vape than it is to use Zyn, which is the most ironic part of all this.
If Chuck does ever succeed in legalizing
I don't know where you're
weed,
shooting.
I'm sure on day 2, he will be coming after weed companies for marketing to kids.
I
So in
doubt
that sense,
that.
in that sense, it would be consistent. Which, and you know, I actually think that that's a good place for a society to end up. That
interesting.
That adults should have, you know, reasonable access to, you know, high quality and regulated products that aren't going to poison you, and that kids should not be marketed to. And that, you know, developing brains should be, you know, protected from Zyn and whatever else. It's like, not, as your brain is developing, it's not good for you.
Well, it's interesting to me.
Even weed
kids. Listen, you are absolutely right about weed. Let's be very, very clear about that. But what's fascinating to me, actually, is that this actually has caused a little bit of an organic pushback inside of Congress. So, for example, you had many Republican congressmen and senators go on the record. Senator Tommy Tuberville says, quote, "It's going to make a lot of people mad. He wants to do that and then also cut out menthol cigarettes. We don't need to do that." The menthol one I have always found fascinating. And maybe you and I can talk about it, because why would you target specifically menthol cigarettes? Now, their justification, as I understand it, is that menthol cigarettes are predominantly smoked by people in the black community, and thus you should ban menthol cigarettes basically for the own good of the people who smoke them. Now, that to me seems outrageous, because it's like you're protecting white cigarettes, but you're going to regulate black cigarettes? Like, first of all, that's insane, and it's not just black people smoke menthols. I think a lot of people smoke menthols, even amongst the 20% of Americans of today who do still smoke. But why, like, how can you move to ban one type of cigarette, which is preferred by some, and then leave others as completely legal? That makes absolutely zero
I'm getting hit from every
The
angle.
only discrimination to me that you can countenance is around age. And so maybe you've got some, like, hall monitors who would say, well, the kids like menthols more, but you're right. It's racial.
No, but the public health justification I've seen explicitly says this is trying to protect black Americans. Like, they're being honest about it. The people who want to ban the menthol.
indicator.
Bro is still in Narnia. Get to the slide! Pull it! Slide! Get ready to run again. Imagine if I was still with you, I could just throw my health drone out for you. There's game moms, with squads left. I'm going to injure that if I describe you. The box has fucking wings on it. That dude paid for a death box. Once you put it out, they're gonna use it. Back to the hiding spot.
Inside the next ring. I love this.
You should play Halo Infinite.
Scrappy DP says, Halo Infinite. Scrappy DP says, grappling hook.
Menthols. So I'm like, what? Like, how can you? First of all, you're making a decision.
Are menthols
somebody else?
Are menthols more carcinogenic than regular?
No, actually, I honestly don't know. The most I've ever read into it really was the racial angle. But I mean, I would just say this with cigarettes, with nicotine, with any of these things. It's like people who drink alcohol. Nobody is drinking alcohol and be like, this is really good for me. You know what? I'm really through with my health right now. There was
an attempt of people to fool themselves
for the red
for a
wine
while.
thing. Yeah, it's BS. Okay,
and nobody even believed that.
Exactly. Yeah, it was people. It was something that they could joke about while they were relaxing, and have a good time. Everyone understands that's a trade-off. Same thing whenever it comes to cigarettes. I know a lot of people who smoke cigarettes. Nobody smokes because they're like, this is really good for me. Okay, they're like, I enjoy it. It's a trade-off. I know that it may kill.
Some people smoke because they think it helps them keep weight off.
Okay, but once again, like, you know, they're doing that.
But they know it's hurting them.
They know that they have, what is it, 2,600% or whatever increase. Even nicotine, full mea culpa. I use nicotine. I mostly chew nicotine gum. Not a lot, but and you know what? I know that it is, what is it, a vasoconstrictor. I know that it will have downstream health effects. I'm willing to make that trade-off because the nootropic benefits. I think that it's a very, very powerful nootropic. I think it's one where there's actually a lot of discussion that remains to be had where, as a society, the vast majority of Americans either used to smoke or lived in a smoking household, 40s, 60s, and all that. You know, you could think of the Mad Men and all that. And then, because of public health, we just all stopped using nicotine for a while. I mean, listen, was it a net benefit or not? Like, maybe. We definitely, you know, we live longer. But yeah, what about our mental clarity? You ever see those guys in Apollo? What is everyone doing in Apollo 13?
Yeah, they're figuring
out how do you think we got to the moon? Yeah, it's like, you think they figured out how to put a round filter into a square hole or whatever? You think they did that all by themselves? Okay.
They need that
Yeah, they need the cigarette.
Yeah.
Now, look, I'm not promoting smoking, and it definitely is very bad. Same in terms of nicotine. It is a highly, highly addictive substance, of which I have seen people go way down the rabbit hole. Many of these frat kids are not using it for nootropic benefits. They're just buzzed out of their minds all the time. That's sad, you know? Okay, you know, we live in a free country. Now, many people will say, Sagar, how is this so hypocritical whenever it comes to stance on weed? And people misunderstand that. But people misunderstand it. I am not for... I do not believe in the criminalization of marijuana. I do, however, think that there is a very unhealthy trend amongst people who use marijuana who are like, yeah, but this one kid with seizures took it and it cured them. And it's like, yeah, but you don't have epilepsy. Like, you don't have childhood epilepsy. You're just a stoner. Like, you're just sitting on your ass doing nothing. And I think that there is not the same, and you correct me if I'm wrong, you seem more immersed in that world, perhaps than I am. There is less of an acknowledgement for people who are daily pot users, in that doing that, they understand fully, they're like, this is bad. Like, this is not good for them.
Right.
And we have seen an explosion of high THC products that are on the market, totally unregulated, most of it coming from China, some of it, you know, really, really unhealthy. And really, you know, this is the other part nobody wants to talk about. Same with alcohol, you know, as alcohol can be very conducive to horrible behavior like drunk driving and to spousal abuse and all these other things. Ask any cop how many alcohol-related instances are in. Marijuana, you know, driving while impaired is not necessarily good. We don't have the same cultural stigma against it. And, you know, I recently tweeted out a chart, kind of wish we pulled it for this segment, which was about the drug-induced psychosis. Cannabis is actually the #1 substance that they have seen in which there is drug-induced psychosis, even more so than alcohol, cocaine, methamphetamine, and other. There's been long, you know, Tell Your Children, the book written by Alex Berenson, a link, and even Joe Rogan, a marijuana fiend, would acknowledge this, is that there is a link between very, very high THC, which is very much on the market right now, and people who are predisposed to schizophrenia having a full-blown psychotic break. And people who would advocate for pot need to understand that.
Yes, yeah. I think that's fair. And for a community and a society to get there, you've got to have it legal. You got to have it regulated. You have to have access to product that you can trust and can analyze and can understand. And I think that free people can work that out. But I think you're right that culturally, people need to acknowledge the downsides as well.
Yeah, also
in a way that they don't quite with alcohol.
And
alcohol works.
What do you mean by that?
So, like you said, everybody that drinks knows it's bad.
Yeah.
And but also fun.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And then for some people, it's not even fun anymore. They're just kind of can't quit.
Right. That's true. And there are a lot of people who have like full-blown alcoholism,
Right.
which we don't talk about enough.
Right. Yeah. But I think there's less willingness to recognize the downside compared to alcohol. I think one reason for that is that the downsides of alcohol are so much more obvious, clear, and dramatic than the downsides of weed. That doesn't mean that there aren't downsides of marijuana and cannabis. So you got to. I think that is something they should.
I just wish I could hear that more from people who are obsessed with pot, because all the data right now tells us that the increase, for example, in pot usage, everyone's like, see, there's a lot more pot. A lot of it is daily smokers. Like, we have a whole new generation of high potency THC.
Yeah.
Exactly. Edibles, you got marijuana in drinks now, lollipops, like all this. I can't even keep up with what the hell is going on here. And within all of that, there is not, again, the same culture, at least from my view of what I've been able to find. Same thing in terms of smoking. It's like, hey, inhaling smoke in your lungs is still bad for you. Like, it doesn't have, just because it's not cigarettes doesn't mean that it's like good whenever you're smoking marijuana constantly all the time. There are a lot of health effects. Again, I would recommend Huberman did an entire podcast on marijuana, THC, and all of that. There's a lot of links.
Check his nicotine one out too.
You should. Yeah. It's very interesting. And again, I want to be very clear here. It is a highly addictive substance for which some people who use it will find it incredibly difficult to quit. There's a lot of differences in between people's genetics and their tolerability. Just as I'm a coffee fiend, I love caffeine. I always have, I can drink 5-6 cups of coffee. I know people who have one and they can't even function.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, every person is different, and, you should never, there's no such thing as a free lunch. Like, whenever you're, riding high on nicotine, you're going to be coming down. Trust me. Like, there's going to be down. The question is like, is that useful to you? Are you making an informed choice? Like, how does all that work? I think we should have the same culture around that with marijuana, of which I do not currently see right now. Yeah, I just see it everywhere. Also, the smell is good. Let's be honest, all right? You can't walk down a city street without smelling this shit.
They call it skunk for a reason.
Yeah.
I kind of like the skunk, but
I wish Crystal was here. I wish she was here to talk about it.
Hey guys, if you like that video, go to breakingpoints.com, become a premium subscriber, and help us build the best independent media organization on the planet.
That's right. We're subscriber funded. We're building something new. We want to replace these failing mainstream media organizations.
So again, to subscribe, it's breakingpoints.com.
How different would your life look if you just allowed things to flow? To flow through you, around you, and on without. When I contemplate all the friction and frustration I've ever felt in my life, it's typically because I didn't want to let things flow as they were meant to. I didn't want to let go. I didn't believe I had the strength or abilities to maintain the flow, or I tried to maintain a flow that was never meant for me to sustain. My present day mantra is, all I have to do is try my best and everything will work out the way it's supposed to. But every ounce of my past self resisted that statement. I can admit that I resisted trying my best at times, because 100% of the time giving your best means overcoming certain challenges. I can also admit that I didn't want to face any more challenges if I had a say in it. Even though my entire life is proof of the second half of that statement, everything will work out the way it's supposed to. When things didn't go my way, I was always doubtful of that sentiment. In other words, I didn't want to put in the energy to even get into or maintain a flow state. And I was also afraid of what would happen if I just released control and let things move in and out of my life the way that they were supposed to. I even think that the concept of going with the flow can be confused with laziness or lack of control, but I don't believe that's what that statement means at all. Going with the flow means leaning in and investing our energy and efforts in the things that we feel drawn towards. Of course, this is going to require some degree of discernment. I'm not insinuating that we should go with every flow, as some waves are not meant to be caught. But I think, like riding waves in the ocean, once you do it enough and begin to develop that deep trust with yourself and with the water, it'll become easy for you to decide which waves are worth riding or not. Aren't you tired sitting on the shore of your own life? Aren't you tired of stopping yourself from exploring the depths of your own ocean? Some of us don't even really know how far we can go when it comes to anything. because we stop ourselves at the slightest sign of discomfort or challenges. And honestly, I think more of us are afraid of growth than we realize. You know you're capable of achieving and receiving so much more, but maybe you're afraid that you won't be able to handle it. Maybe you don't think you really deserve it. Maybe you're afraid of how others around you will receive you once you step into your greatness. I don't know what that fear looks like for you, but I would be remiss not to admit that the fear of growth is also present in all of this. Fortunately, though, the same way many of us have made the choice to avoid our personal flows, we can also make the choice to tap in. And baby, this year I am tapping in. I'm giving myself permission not only to enter, but to remain in flow. And I would like to encourage you to do the same. See how far you can get with learning that language. See how much you can accomplish with that script. Experience how deep you can feel and heal this year. Getting into a flow is not something to be feared. Embrace the current of your life. Let it carry you where you're meant to be. Break free from the shoreline of hesitation. Explore the depths of your own ocean and ride the waves that resonate with you. Aren't you ready to experience how full and expansive life can really be?
Joining us now is Emily Kopp. She's a reporter at US Right to Know. She's done some of the best work that there is on the lab leak hypothesis on that investigation. She's joining us now for our latest report. Thank you so much for joining us, Emily.
Great to be here.
Absolutely. So we covered your work here for a long time, and we have one of your latest that we can put up there on the screen. Let's see it. U.S. scientists propose to make viruses with unique features of SARS-CoV-2 in Wuhan. All right, so it's a headline, which is, we got a little bit of some jargon in there. Unique features, SARS-CoV-2. I think that's COVID. Wuhan, I think I'm a little bit familiar. Some of our viewers probably know, but just break this down for the average person.
Whoa, no, we're going to the worst rap battle ever before we get to this. Sorry. Loving the lab leak theory and all that stuff. But
if you've been around the channel for a while, you'll know that 6 or 7 years ago,
tell me the rap
I was
battle.
extremely active
Get to the
in
fucking
the
rap
rap battle community.
Just get to the
Not
fucking
as a
rap
participant, but as a harsh critic. I was like the Rotten Tomatoes
Just
of
get to
rap
the
battle, but I
fucking rap
only
battle.
specialized in the absolute worst. I made probably 10 to 20 videos covering the most awful rap battles I could possibly find, because for a while it was a pretty popular branch of content. But now it's kind of fizzled out, and it's just a distant memory of a long-forgotten age. But today on Twitter, a few people tagged me in a clip that was going viral from an old rap battle, so I had to find the source because it was one I hadn't seen before, which is very rare. So I thought, let's go ahead and take this back old school here. Let's do a little rap
Take
battle
it back to
analysis,
the old
like I
school,
used
because
to
I'm
do
an
back
old
in the day.
school. Who's so cool?
Let's get it in. Woo! It's Serenade, aka Sally, aka
branch of
If you're with me, I'm with you. Ang buhay ay weather lang, but I'll bring the sun. My name is Wraith, and we have a job to do. This is your champion. Not your day.
Don't get your budgie smugglers in a twist. It's just your old mate Fuse.
How about moving there? I think we should go there. Hey, yeah. Enemy shooting down here. First blood. Now the game's really starting. We're already getting better. This way, let's go. You're in view of the enemy. Found another. Enemy reviving here.
What the fuck are you doing? Get in here!
Opponent, enemy reviving here.
Warning, room closing. Already inside.
Are you serious?
They might be watching you.
Attention, there is a new kill leader. Kill Kill leader eliminated. New kill leader appointed.
Don't
Care
move.
package over there. Attention.
Maybe move.
There is a new kill leader.
You should probably get off the roof.
I can't leave yet.
Setting a portal. Portal's ready. I say we move there. Round 2. Beginning ring countdown. That ring's far, I know. Half the squads are gone. I'm fine with that. Replicator being delivered. Replicator incoming. Picked up some materials. Got our squad mate's banner. Picked up our teammate's banner. Only 45, rings far.
What are you doing?
Holy shit.
That worked. Don't say holy shit. You're lucky I was here with you, mate.
Listen up. Got sniper ammo here. Got a 30-30 repeater here.
Calling dibs.
Flatline here.
Warning. Ring closing. Listen up, the ring's moving.
Bolt SMG here.
Dibs.
Got
Everyone's
an
got
extended
favorites, and
energy
it's
mag
mine.
here. Level 3. Got an Evo shield here. Level 2.
Care package being delivered.
Heads up. Care package coming in.
Are my teammates even playing? What is going on? You call me bad. Surprise, surprise. It's Ben again. I got both of you. Ain't no way.
Looks like we've spread out. Mind your map.
Round 3. Beginning ring countdown.
Could you come get me?
Let's check out that way.
You mean go into the storm and get you?
Got a replicator coming in.
I mean, why didn't you get out of the storm?
point spanner. 1 minute until ring close. .45 until ring close. It's near. Easy.
If I get you up there, you're gonna die immediately again, so I'm not gonna do that. Too much hot action over there.
They've laid traps. Setting a portal. Portal's ready. In progress. Yeah, I'm inside the next ring.
I saw my whole life flash before my eyes. Short.
Patching myself up.
Forgot I'm not even lifeline. I can't even queue myself, huh?
I guess I didn't spawn with my shit.
Open supply bin over here.
Round 4. Beginning ring countdown.
Backpack here. Level 1.
Mind if I take it?
Frag. R90. Light ammo. Never mind. Light ammo here. Light ammo here. R301 here. R99 here. Light ammo here. Listen. Charge rifle here. Sniper stock here. Level 1.
There's a death box back here, purple. There's a bunch of them.
Death box here.
45 seconds until ring close, mga kapatid.
We're close to the ring. 30 seconds. Void running. Ultimate accelerant. Care package over there. Heavy ammo here. 10 seconds. The ring's close.
Warning. Ring closing.
We'll be toasted by the ring if we don't move.
You gotta get those guys, or get me. I mean, they were hurt bad.
Can you shut the fuck up for 2 seconds?
Need to recharge my shields.
This is fucking... I want to see the damage you did. Alright, let's go back to this.
Slim Sadie, aka go fuck yourself to the guy who said I had too many names.
Little rap battle analysis like I used to do back in the day.
Yes, G, let's get it in. Woo! It's Saturday, aka Sally, aka Slim Sadie, aka go fuck yourself to the guy who said I had too many names.
Get used to your ears bleeding. That's going to become a very familiar sensation throughout this video because anytime there's even an elevation in someone's voice, it peaks the mic and it turns into the worst cacophony of garbled nonsense you could ever imagine. It sounds like the mic they used here was straight out of Xbox 360 era during a Call of Duty lobby. It's brutal for the senses. But anyway, here's our two warriors ready to duke it out on the battlefield of bars. We have a rookie, SKB, who's making her debut, and she's squaring off against a veteran, Serenade, or one of her many other gamer tags and aliases. I saw a couple people on Twitter call her Feminem, and that gave me a little bit of a giggle. But she's 0-2 right now, so she doesn't have the best record. She's like the Detroit Pistons of battle rap at the moment, and she is hungry for a W. So let's see if she brings her A game.
SKB. Who the fuck is that? I've been trying to figure it out. You must be some crazy bitch. That's it. See, I just twiddled my thumbs and that's the best I could come up with. Stephanie Kelly Brown. Test, test, test. Oh, I get it now. That's your initials. Wow, that's some original shit.
Everybody stand back. She's spitting more flames than Spyro.
What is that?
I have to appreciate the way she kicks this off here by going, SKB, who the fuck is that? And then tries to say what it stands for. Some crazy bitch. Which, you'd have to misspell crazy for that to work. You'd have to spell crazy with a K instead of the proper spelling of C. Which is badass. But I do have to say, she ruins the continuity by immediately in the next line saying what SKB stands for, so you already knew. Why are you pretending you don't know what it stands for? You ruined the...
My mind is blown. That's freaking awesome. Not fucking dumb. Now, when Tanner found out that Channing could...
I've fought nightmares all my life.
Fucking dumb.
None of you scare me.
Wait.
You challenged the wrong person.
Let's get messy.
Mind is blown.
Hey mates, let's go OT. First blood. Good. Right. Now this is what I'm talking about. Round 1. Beginning ring countdown.
Well done, mates. We're inside the next ring. We can all calm down a bit.
Optics here. Mid-range. Sniper stock here. Level 3.
How is Gmail broken?
Lucky for you, I've got some extra supplies here. We want to go here.
Champion eliminated.
Champ's dead. Heavy is the head that wears the bullet holes.
Warning. Ring movement in progress.
Tai's Fire says, don't fight.
Looky here, lads. We're inside the ring. Got an open supply bin here.
Tai's Fire says, game is lagging right now.
Awesome. Not fucking dumb.
Extended Standard light mag here. Level 1.
Attention, delivering care
Optics here. Close range.
Care package coming in. Whoa, feel that haze, yeah?
Now, when Tanner found out that Channing couldn't come, he asked me to come here and tan your rap. And I said I'd do it. I figured I'd step up and be the bigger man. But this looks like a step down. Shannon's fat as fuck. I don't think I thought this through enough.
She sounds like she just infiltrated a slam poetry open mic night and drank way too much before going off on stage, and now everything is all scatterbrained and disheveled. It just doesn't even sound like she's rapping. It sounds more like she's delivering a monologue from Mean Girls. It's hard for me to even like break down line by line here because I can't even tell where a rhyme was supposed to start and stop or where a line ends and another begins because words together. It's like a fever dream audibly. Like she mentions someone named Tanner and then says, "I'll have to tan your ass," or something. What does that mean? What's happening?
But you know what they say? Behind every hater is a piece of truth. And I have to agree. Because some random guy Facebooked me saying, "You're a horrible rapper, but you're sort of cute." That's true. Now, back in my battle with Shannon, I more or less called her a badass. And it's not only that. I told her exactly what to do to fix it. I said,
KI's
do
Fire
some
says,
reps for next, climb up a flight of steps, etc. And if she had only listened, maybe she wouldn't be at home sick. Now, after you missed you Facebook football.
She's like a cartoon character getting into the thing she says doesn't make sense. Like, what do you mean you don't know her from a hole in the wall? What does that mean? You can't distinguish a human being from a fucking glory hole or something? Like, I don't understand what she's trying to say half the time. It feels like she listened to a single Eminem song and then tried to emulate it to the best of her ability. And then she even goes to like a previous rap battle to start referencing it as some kind of previously on Dragon Ball Z callback. It's just so disjointed. And occasionally she'll get kind of close to making a few things rhyme, like with a slant rhyme, but she doesn't have the courtesy of making anything rhyme. There's no flow to this. She does stuff.
Where you shooting at? Where you shooting at?
In the middle of that flurry where she was saying like steps next or whatever, reps. Like she had something going there. She should have stuck with that. I guess do some reps, then next climb some steps, drink some water, not diet peps. I'm spitting poop, not pee. About to dismantle SKB. Hey, wait a minute. Serenade, I could be your coach. We could get you from 0-2 to 1-3. Like, I don't know if you're still rap battling. This video is 10 years old. I don't know if she's still out there on the grind, but it's not too late. I was fucking fired.
You letting your kids sit see as a kid. What is you thinking? Tell me, do you really want her to grow up to be just as hefty as you, Stephanie? Left to marry some 50-year-old man? And then, when I thought I'd seen it all, I start scrolling a little further on down your wall. Another picture. You letting your kid go to town on Pepsi out of a bottle. Come on, that's just irresponsible. Forget stress test. Show her heavy breathing just leaving the nest. Now, I didn't come here to be a dick. I just wanted to ruffle some feathers and shuffle the feet. So just out of respect, I didn't bring the pictures. But for future reference, you should take that shit down.
Okay. Very anti-Pepsi. She must be a Coke gal. I guess there was a few things that rhymed in there. That's kind of a W, right? It reminds me of that old saying, if you give an animal a typewriter, it'll eventually write a Shakespearean work. It kind of applies here. If you allow Serenade to say every single word she knows as quickly as possible, she's bound to get a couple of them that accidentally rhyme with each other. So it's starting to work a little bit.
Now, I understand this is your first battle rap, so let's see if you up for the top. Because if you check my Facebook, you probably use my own stats against me. But I say, you too lazy for that. But if and only if, and that's the converse, you did your homework, you can come up with some dirt, especially if you know the right people to ask. Posing, they let you into the. So let's see what you have.
God bless the soul of that one guy who just goes, that was nice. That's so supportive. That's honestly super wholesome. Like, I can't help but appreciate how nice everyone appears to be. Like, they just explode into like uproarious applause. They're going crazy for her, even though this had to be one of the most uncomfortable things to sit through in person. Far be it for me to question the format here, but I think you're allowing these rounds to go far too long. It's dragged on way too long. She was hours worth of mumbo jumbo. Like, it should have been half the time. It was so long.
That mic is awesome.
Low here. Like,
Monkey_on_flame says,
so
ha ha ha.
Low here. Like, it should have been half the time.
Your mic is terrible. I can't hear a thing you're saying.
Bitch. That's the kind of shit that'll get your lips hit quick. Serenade beyond like Miley Cyrus tip. Country music videos and trying to rap
Fire says, wasn't saying anything.
Coming on a wrecking ball. And bitches just keep rocking it off. I got no pity for stupid bitches who think they can. People find you funny, bitch, you're getting laughed at.
I don't have a lot to say about SKB here. She actually had like a whole routine, basically. She was far more organized. Her lines actually rhymed. There was actual punch lines to them. And she even had a hype man with her. She had a supporting actor out there emphasizing some of them, like, get your lips hit quick, and he'd say it behind her. Hers just really wasn't bad. Like, she wasn't super cringe or anything like that. It's really just Serenade that we need to focus on here for this rap battle analysis.
Now I don't mean to seem like a hater. That's just the way I am. And I never meant to take it this far. I was actually just looking for someone in particular. Eminem. You just happen to be my way, and I'm not afraid to spar.
What? What is happening? The way she acts makes it seem like she's dropping some heat. But she's actually just dropping some fucking stink. Like, she is stinking this place up. I think this is like a call out to Eminem, perhaps, which, hey, if people aren't laughing at your dreams, you're not dreaming big enough, as they say. I appreciate her shooting for the stars. And imagine the world where Eminem does see this and he's like, you know what? I won't stand for that. I am going to organize a rap battle with Serenade this instant. She's got what it takes.
But before you start breaking out your bars, let me tell you something. It takes at least 3 cops to cut me, and I'm not bluffing. So you can think all you want that you're harder than I am, but let me tell you what, when you have a knife up to your throat and you're being pinned, trust me, you're not so fucking tough then.
Pardon me for a moment while I try and digest this. There's a lot to marinate on. So it takes at least 3 cops to cuff you. And you explain in detail a situation where you were pinned with a knife to your throat from the cops, I am assuming. Why would the cops have a knife to your throat? Like maybe a baton or a gun or something, I would understand a taser even. But why would they have a knife unless you're getting like arrested by the Joker? And exactly what led to the situation that 3 cops would pin you down and put a knife to your throat?
Monkey_on_flame says,
like, that's some serious shit. I'm very curious now about her fucking criminal history.
Anybody could beat me up. That's nothing. So hypothetically speaking, you walk out of here tonight with the win, that's not really much of an accomplishment. But while I'm on the topic, I don't care if I win or not. I'll still leave here with my chin up. I take a loss like a boss. Chop it up to experience. Walk it off.
Usually in a rap battle, you don't want to seem weak, so you don't really want to be saying things about potentially losing or how you take a loss with grace. Like, that's the number one thing that you probably wouldn't want to go over, and that's so far the only topic she's been able to make any rhymes out of. Loss like a boss, walk it off, I guess. Like, why would you be, you're not taking shots at your opponent anymore, you're taking shots at yourself. And you say how easy it is for anyone to beat you up. Why are you saying these things? What's happening? What is going on here? This is such an interesting strategy. I can't fully comprehend. It's like if I ran into a rap battle, it's like, you want to beat my ass? Why not eat my ass? I fucking lose this battle, but my butt still ate. What's going on here?
Just to prove to you, I don't care if I lose.
Monkey_on_flame says, LOL.
No, wait. Those are my favorite. On second thought, I'll meet you on the seat of the teeter-totter so you can keep their feet on the ground the longest. And you know me, I stay off the rocks.
absolute chaos and pandemonium here. Now she's just
Tay Ice
challenging
Fire
into a
says,
tater tot
well,
eating
found out why
competition.
I was so laggy my laptop was unplugged
Who
LMAO.
can keep their feet on the
Tay
ground
Ice
the
Fire
longest on a
says,
teeter
tragic.
totter? It's like, what is going on here?
Yeah, I'm gonna pop all the best that ghetto gospel, but I can go from that to high in no time at all. Watch me snap you like a popsicle.
Monkey
Turn you like a
_on
nut
underscore
butter.
flames
Nah,
says,
fuck that.
GG.
I'll turn you into a fossil and turn your king into a foster child.
The one girl in the middle in the audience goes absolutely ballistic for Serenade. I'm guessing they're friends, and
that's her sister.
like I said, I can't help but appreciate that level of support here, but come on. Maybe someone needs to step in and be like, hey, Serenade, this rap battle thing, it might just not be for you. That's what a good friend would do. Though, admittedly, I am kind of glad that the friend seems to be an enabler that keeps pushing her to do this. This is her third appearance here in the Thunderdome, and I can't even imagine what the first two must have been like, but this one, I think, is something special.
I got a different face for every situation. I'm a triple threat on a daily basis. See, Slim Sadie is like White Fang. She's all teeth. She ain't into playing games. While Sally, on the other hand, is like a wild Mustang riding off into the wind. I feel myself changing personalities again.
Lord have mercy, can someone just call time? She's been going for 50 minutes, it feels like. God damn, she's about to use her domain expansion, Cringe Purgatory. So she's starting to change personalities again. She's like busting it wide open for a second. And I don't know why, but I was actually expecting her to be some kind of spiritual medium here for a better rap battler. Like she just gets possessed by the actual spirit of Slim Shady.
We're going to do beautiful things together.
Introducing your champion.
Any of you lads up for a campfire sing-song after? Taking orders for after the game, fellas. We talking what, 60 steaks?
And then she just goes full 8 Mile on it, and it's beautiful. That's not what happens at all. That's not reality. It only gets worse.
Where we going?
I the Wonderland. Call me Alice. My name means princess. I'm building this house. You've been waiting on me all day.
What's that,
Well, I'm
Scrapey?
here at last.
That's not my name.
You know my hat?
Scrapey DP.
Obvious. Slapping you, around you.
Scrape your
You
knees,
get a roll,
bitch.
And I'll be laughing. I'll say, fuck slapping you. I'll do laps around you. whether it's in a pool or on a dance pole. An actual trap, rubber, or asphalt.
Disrespectful
So
asshole.
whenever crap or smack you want to talk and try and pass off as fact, I ain't having it. Because at the end of the day, you're just
You
gonna
call
say
me
that I was
scrap,
Get
scrapey?
it? I have my back to you when I be
Is
passing
that
you
not
for the
your
fucking
name?
apple. I forget it. You'd never catch my drift. You
Didn't I say that's not my name the first thing after you said it? And then you repeated yourself?
I think there's a threshold that gets crossed
Alright,
where
so
something
scrap.
becomes so bad it should almost be illegal. You know what I mean? Where if you're this horrible at rap battling, if you step foot in another rap battle, it's some kind of like misdemeanor. Because this is painful. Like actually, I've seen innumerable bad rap battle moments, but for some reason, Serenades really strikes a chord deep in my soul that triggers.
Where's your little beast?
Primal, primitive response of disgust. It's like, oh,
what's that?
Where's the little guy?
Actually foul. Like this isn't okay.
I see
what
you.
I'm listening to right now. And the big
No!
is still not over. We're in the middle of nuclear winter, and it's just it's showing no signs of slowing down. This is still her second round, and I'm accidentally making rhymes now, which I'm not trying to do. Which only goes to show you that it shouldn't be so difficult for her to accidentally say sentences that end up rhyming with each other by complete accident. But yeah, it still boggles my mind thinking about her.
I only got a volt to the
asshole
Spitfire.
bars there. You're gonna say I look like an asshole. You get it? Because when I'm passing you, looking back at you with my asshole screaming achoo or whatever she said, I already forgot. But how could that have possibly even left your lips? I don't understand. It makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense.
Right. So I thought I'd start off this round by throwing a question out with the crowd. Who'd y'all rather be stranded on an island with? Me?
Level 2.
Or this?
No! It's not. She's not even trying anymore. Hey, who would you? It's fucking so stupid. Who would you rather be stranded on an island with, me or her? Come on, where's the applause? Who do you think you are? I am.
Beach Barbie, certified bartender, soon to be lifeguard. Meanwhile, this blow-up doll would sink you with a single cannonball off of a wharf. Or she might morph into a cannonball and eat you all.
So I googled scrappy
Me
DP
or
and got
her,
some
it's
pretty
not hard.
interesting results.
Now I'm in a higher place than you, a higher state of conscience. So if you think you're beating me here tonight, that's fucking nonsense. That's what they call false confidence. You just a baby wannabe Johnson Johnson.
The fuck does that even mean? A wannabe Johnson & Johnson? That's a corporation. That's not even a person.
Man, this chick is so far gone by. She goes to counseling once a week. She sits down on the couch. You know what they tell her? You need some help. Then they write her a prescription. You know what it says? Bitch, go break out your tonsils.
I had the same reaction to that girl in the crowd who just couldn't help herself from saying "what" in
Bitch,
confusion
go
to that
rip out
line.
your tonsils.
Ernest, if I may. The fuck is happening in your brain? What is going on in your noodle? How did this happen? Why? What went wrong? What kind of goddamn counselor would say that you need to rip out your tonsils? That'd be the worst advice ever. No counselor worth their salt would say something like that. You're being ridiculous, Serenade. At least ground this in reality to some degree. Just make it make sense. That's all I'm asking.
So it'd be the best to represent. Only seems fitting. Not only do I show up to the show, put on a show, and my best clothes, I put when it comes time for these guys to go to the polls and cast their vote. Just think, you going home.
Ba-bum.
It's like watching your aunt find absinthe and get way too drunk at Thanksgiving. Like she's just going around going, oh, or whatever. It's just too much. You're doing too much, Serenade, and at the same time doing nothing at all. It's peculiar, but I'm happy to have witnessed it. Like, I feel stronger for having been exposed to it, if that makes sense.
The storm is coming!
Now, I'll spoil the surprise. SKB1.
Run!
Shocking, I know. It was a nail biter. So, Serenade 0-3, but I think she's got a bright future in the rap game. I've got an eye for talent, and I see a lot of potential with Serenade here. She just needs to hone her craft a bit more. Like a fine katana. Sometimes you just gotta fold the handle a couple thousand more times to get that perfect edge. And I think she's on the cusp of it. What a wonderful rap battle. And that's really about it. So yeah.
Today we're going to overclock this biscuit. For those looking for a high-end custom gaming experience, look no further than Falcon Northwest. Falcon Northwest has been building PCs made for gamers for over 30 years with a focus on a true high-end gaming experience. Custom cases available only through Falcon Northwest feature state-of-the-art testing and design to ensure that every component is performing at their best in thermal imaging and rigorous lab testing, designed and overseen by the Falcon Northwest founder himself. With a complete lineup of systems ranging from small to large, every Falcon Northwest system includes a 3-year warranty policy and a year of 2-way overnight shipping coverage, providing the ultimate peace of mind. To see all that Falcon Northwest has to offer, follow the sponsored link in the description below. So if you haven't watched our 4070 Ti Super review, it lands exactly where you would expect. It's slower than a 4080 and faster than a 4070 Ti. Now, what makes it different is the fact that it's an 8103 chipset with just, I think it's about 512 CUDA cores, maybe a little more disabled versus the 4080. So because it's on the same core as the 4080, rather than like trying to overclock a 4070 Ti to catch a 4080, that'd be very difficult because it's a
Let me try to craft you.
I want to see what happens when we take this triple fan cooler and push it as far as we possibly can. So a couple prerequisites before this overclock. It is on the performance BIOS. I've downloaded the latest version of Afterburner and the latest local driver from NVIDIA. So you see core voltage is grayed out. That's because we got to go in here, enable unlock voltage control. I always wanted to restart it one more time to see if it'll give me a slider. Nope, it's not. Could potentially be locked out of this particular card, but that's okay. In terms of power limit, we're given an extra 10% of power limit. Now that's kind of a big deal because of the fact that, if you recall, the 4070 Ti Super, being on the 8103, is a much more efficient power limit anyway. So, in fact, I can even look that up to see, because I don't remember exactly what the power limit and the TDP is on the 4070 Ti. I also keep saying 4070 Ti instead of 4070 Ti Super. Just know today I'm talking about the Super. 4070 Ti Super, I'm not used to saying Ti Super. So if I misspeak, just know that that's what I'm talking about. Anyway, 285 watt maximum. That's significantly lower than the 4080 though, at 350
I just
watts.
get scanned.
So already this is at a 65 watt disadvantage from a 4080. So it's gonna be very difficult to even try and match a 4080, even if we had a golden chip, because it is gimped on purpose, power limit wise, from even reaching a 4080. So if we look at getting 10% additional power limit, now it's 10% additional from what the cup is. I'm not entirely sure what the cup baseline is. It could have been a little higher. Could have been, I doubt it's higher because it's an MSRP card. It was also very
I tried
at launch. I bet you that's a 285 watt card, to be honest. But that's one way we can test that. So close any browsers you have open, close any background tasks, any sort of defender going, because believe it or not, these are all things that can reduce your score by a significant amount. So go in here, make sure you close. Right,
then you're not actually getting what a fucking 4080 is. Come on now, bro.
For both CPU and GPU.
You know that.
But I'm gonna put this all back to factory right now, and I'm just gonna run
everything out. Is that how you're gonna run
Port
your
Royal.
computer?
Now, I like to use Port Royal for initial overclocking because we need to stress the RT. If you only test the title that doesn't use RT and going to rasterization, you'll find you can get some pretty heavy clocks and you'll get some really good scores. But then as soon as you run a title that uses the tensor cores or the RT cores in any way, you'll find that the performance is probably more unstable. So you have to, if you're doing an RT card and you're going for max clocks with anything involving RT, you've got to do an RT test. So that's why we don't use Heaven or whatever when it comes to trying to determine overclocking stability. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and load up Port Royal. So you can use either Port Royal or even Speedway, which is their newer test for this. I just am really accustomed to Port Royal because I've seen that test thousands of times with all the overclocking that we've done. Now you'll notice the card is currently at 43C while just sitting here idle. That's because we are at 0% fan speed. That is both in the performance and the quiet BIOS on the tough card. They are 0 RPM fans when not under load. So one of the things I like to do is also go in here to fan, enable just the default fan curve it puts in there, which puts the minimum fan at 40%, and hit apply. I like to do that because in between tests, I don't want the card to be too hot. I want to keep it as cool as possible. In fact, when we start overclocking, I'll be putting those fans pretty close to 100%.
but maybe not all the way up there, because this card is so efficient for the cooler that's on there. You don't actually need the amount of cooler that's on this card. It's pretty massive for a 285 watts, but because it's basically the same PCB layout as the 4080, I think a lot of these brands just stuck 4080 coolers on the 4080 Supers and 4070 Ti's. It makes sense that they would do that, but why change up the PCB layout if it's just a cut down version of the 4080? Okay, so our power with stock right now, as you can see, is not. So this is something you got to keep in mind. A lot of people think like, oh, if it's 285 watt card under load, it should always hit 285 watts, but that's not true. There's max wattage, and then there's like the actual game used wattage.
And then there's spikes.
So in games, most of the time, even though the card is going to show us like GPU usage 100%, as you can see right there. There's 252 watts, 267, 282, 282, 277, 276. You still have a couple of watts on the table, but obviously when we get that 10% additional, it's going to give us what, 22 watts additional, right? So I just want to see what our max temps are going to be currently. Our power limit, though, as you can see, is our #1 reason for being limited. Right here, power limit is almost always at 1. The only time it's not at 1 is
let's get to the swamp.
Voltage momentarily, even though
Washington D.C.
locked right here at the 2700s. They go anywhere from like 2775 all the way down as low as like 2685 right there. So I think we have a lot of room for improvement, especially considering our temperatures right now. We're only at 56 C, 57,
they took
55.
the time.
So the very first thing I'm going to do right here, while it's running, I'm going to go ahead and just maximize our power limit and our temp limit and just hit apply. I want to see what's going to happen to our power wattage right here. So max that out. So 302, 304 instantly, and still power limited. That's because we know that the 8103 can go all the way up to 350 watts. We know that. So that means that what's really holding back this card is power limit. Which means any of the beefier, higher overclocking built cards that have power limits that might go as high as like 320. I think I said, yeah, 350 for the 380, or the 4080. So if they go up to like 320, then we might be able to get kind of close to a base 3080 with overclocking. Now the reason why I'm even talking about that is we're comparing it to a card that used to cost $1,200 plus. This card costs $800, so that is $400 cheaper. And although not a cheap card, $400 cheaper is enough to pay for your whole CPU. So if you can get near 4080 and save $400, that's a big deal. Our frequency is now locked at 2750, not moving at all. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and bump up the fan speed to about 80%. The reason I don't want the fans to go too high is because of the fact that the fans, although it's only a few watts, maybe 5 watts total for all 3 fans, are part of that total board power that's available, included in that 285 watts. So we want to make sure that we keep the card as cool as possible so that temperature doesn't start thinning us down into low frequency.
You got someone on you? For real?
Not so cold that we're not gaining anything by being that cold, but we're losing power availability. So that's the balance and trade-off that you got to do right now.
I got a mobile respawn.
So you can see I'm still at 2760. The temperatures have started to trend downward, as you can see right there. Well, as you can see right here, our power limit now is sitting mostly at 0. So that's good. That means we can start kind of pushing up the clock a little bit. Because look, our voltage is now our limit. This is why I was hoping that maybe I could have given us a little bit of additional voltage slider. The reason why I bring that up is the RTX 4080 and 4090 will show 1050 voltage or 1050 millivolts versus the 1100 that's available to it. And a lot of times, unless you move that slider, it won't go to 1100. It stays at 1050. That 50 millivolt is huge. Unfortunately, this card, with the latest version of MSI Afterburner, is not allowing us to be able to push it up. So let's start bumping our clock up by 50 offset at one time. So build and apply. There's 2805. That's 100. Now what I'm testing is just to see what kind of core lottery I've got. Before even touching memory, I want to see how far can I push the core. There you are. So it's 2850.
Dropping to you?
I tend to go 50 megahertz at it says 50 megahertz. It's not going to be 50 every time. It's 15 megahertz increments, which obviously is not divisible. 50 is not divisible by 15 units, so that's why they tend to sometimes jump or not move at all. So there's 150. That gets us 2895. It did hit 2910. There it is right there. You can see our power limit is now back. Now here's why we don't want.
Like that's my fault.
We're bumped up against all the time and keep pushing the frequency. Because in between tests, what the load drops suddenly.
Really? I came in there and dropped someone. What did you do? I came running from a distance. So you guys got into a fight alone.
Right? So if you're
Jesus
pulling the
Christ,
bar
have
and
some
someone's pulling on the
fucking-
other end, what happens if you just let go? Right? They go flying. They go falling down. So if you were to just like gently release that rope, the other team would start feeling that and adjust and not go flying backwards. So the same thing sort of happens here. If you have a really high frequency set, but it can't hit that frequency because of the load and power limit keeping it from going there. If it switches scenes or you're in a game where suddenly you go into an area that's not quite as demanding, say you went from outdoors to indoors, suddenly that what's happening is that load is let go with the rope and your frequency shoots up to where it's unstable. And you thought it was stable because it never was touching that frequency while you were running those tests. So anyway, there we go. I'm gonna go 200 now. What I'll do if I start to hit instability is I will then start to go 25 at a time, all the way down to even 5 at a time until I figure out exactly what that frequency is, number is that it's crashing at. Now we went from 2910 to 2055 by adding 50. So obviously I gained 45, and I didn't gain the 50 I put. So that tells me I'm now either right in between that binning number of where 50 is not divisible by 15, or in between.
I'm over it, Jay. Over it.
I think this is, at least because my posture is bad. Does that affect it?
I think it's because you've never done stuff like this before.
That's also true. Whenever I do the bend and snaps, I always move my back. I've never done it with my hips. So
Hips are where all your power comes from. So if you just think about that when you're doing movements like that, everything. So when you're doing a squat, people who haven't trained in it, their first instinct is to bend their knees to start. But you should start by pushing your hips backwards, and that activates you to start going down.
like this. I didn't know it was like this. You know?
Linus's Gaming News Emporium, where we've got so much gaming news, we're practically giving it away. No, actually, that is what we're doing. It costs too much. It's free! Microsoft has announced it's laying off 1,900 staff from its gaming division, amounting to about 8% of the company's gaming workforce. This news brings the total number of gaming industry layoffs announced to about 5,600. Not for the last 365 days, mind you. That's how many industry workers have lost their jobs less than 1 month into 2024. It's also more than half of the number of jobs that were cut during the entire year of 2023, according to stat tracking by technical artist Farhan Noor. A further tragedy of Microsoft's cuts is the reported lack of communication around them. While human/leather-jacket hybrid Phil Spencer stated Activision, Blizzard, ZeniMax, and the Xbox teams will be affected, information about how is so sparse that some Activision Blizzard employees are texting games journalist Jason Schreier to find out if they still have jobs.
I text him daily.
One person who does know their employment status is Blizzard president Mike Ibarra, who announced that he was leaving the company. That kind of makes sense. Ibarra worked at Xbox for 2 decades before originally joining Blizzard in 2019, so him sticking around would be kind of like getting back with your ex after you watched her swallow your girlfriend whole.
She's just magnetic.
The Chinese government, meanwhile, has quietly removed its proposed bans on video game monetization from its website just weeks after the draft legislation caused local gaming giants to lose tens of billions of dollars in market value. The ban's removal apparently led to a healthy little jump in share prices, which is great. I mean, finally a victory for the little guys in the gaming space. This doesn't mean that China has given up on regulating the gaming space, however. According to Reuters, the draft rules were inaccessible as of January 23rd, a day after the consultation period for the proposal had ended. And while analysts have suggested that the removal is unusual, some believe that the bill may be revised and reintroduced. There were some controversial suggestions, after all. Many companies didn't like the idea of limiting in-game purchases and banning daily login incentives. Another unpopular section described a ban on forcing players into combat, which is a key mechanic for, games. One section even suggested introducing a pop-up that would warn players of irrational
There's people with us.
I don't know what they would define as irrational, but I guess it would be something like spending 10,000 diamond crystals on the lottery wheel to unlock the new green-haired waifu?
Can you get that one over here?
Fantastic. The studio behind the world's most anticipated dumpster fire the day before has decided to speak out after the title officially shut down this week. Their now deleted tweet claimed misinformation and a hate campaign orchestrated by bloggers. Hate it when bloggers do that.
Came back from the 90s.
Who made huge money by creating false content on the game's failure, contributed to its failure? One of the many people who disagrees with this assessment is solo indie developer Crimson. They spent 300 hours using just $1,500 worth of assets to create a parody of the day before's own gameplay trailer from scratch to demonstrate how easy it is to overhype a product that, spoiler, doesn't actually exist. Crimson's project features a zombie encounter similar to one trailer for the day before, and almost identically managed to replicate the looting UI from another trailer. It isn't a perfect copy, however. They weren't able to recreate the day before's promised parkour system exactly the way it appeared in-game, because, unlike Fantastic, Crimson actually included one. Haha, got him. Now it's time for the Rapid Morsels brought to you by XSplit. Take your live streaming to the next level with XSplit's cutting-edge broadcasting and video production tools. Sleeping streams, sleeping streams. Those are a thing, but that doesn't mean your viewers should be counting sheep. You can keep them awake with image and video looping, multiple audio tracks, and slick transitions. So don't sleep on this deal. Check out XSplit today at lmg.gg/XSplit and use code Linus for a very nice 69% off your first purchase or subscription. Welcome to the Rapid Morsels, where questions unfurl in clever kabuki, belying intense theatrical strength. Did we do the thing where we just pick the next word in our autocomplete? Okay. The first letter of those last 9 words spells quick bits, so technically you said it, Linus. Touché. The Pokemon Company has finally acknowledged the existence of Palworld, saying in an official statement that they have received many inquiries about the Steam game and they intend to investigate any intellectual property infringements. The CEO of Palworld's developer, Pocket Pair, has stated that their game has cleared legal reviews, so it's not obvious that there's anything the Pokemon Company can actually do. They're just upset that a survival game is somehow a better Pokemon game than Scarlet and Violet? Or maybe everyone should just stop sending inquiries to Nintendo. I mean, you're just rubbing their faces in it at this point. Mega Cat Studios appears to have accidentally leaked a trailer for their in-progress game Five Nights at Freddy's Into the Pit. The game is a 2D pixel art style side-scroller that is apparently based on a 2019 novelization by the same name. After moderators for the FNAF forum banned discussion of leaks, series creator Scott Cawthon commented that he was okay with fans talking about the game, which has been in development for some time. According to Cawthon, Into the Pit is intended as a 10th anniversary game, which would indicate a likely release date in August. Very little else is known about the game, so it should be relatively easy to avoid spoilers, as long as you don't read the
What are we
book.
doing?
Unfortunately, all of your children have them.
Obsidian Entertainment has released more details about Avowed, their upcoming first-person RPG set in the Pillars of Eternity universe. The game will apparently have a solid emphasis on exploration, as game director Carrie Patel described a side quest as absolutely missable.
What, like it sucks?
Wow, what a sales pitch. Developers also claim the game is classless. Just like us! Woo! And instead, it features multiple ability trees that allow players to easily respec. Based on the gameplay footage, they really went all out on this new version of Skyrim. Zelda producer Eiji Aonuma was recently spotted in the background of a behind-the-scenes video from Universal Studios Orlando, alongside Shigeru Miyamoto of Shigeru Miyamoto fame. The inclusion of Aonuma has led to speculation that the park might be planning a future Legend of Zelda expansion, in addition to the Super Mario-themed land that is coming to the park in 2025. Disappointingly, Aonuma and Miyamoto were wearing standard-issue high-vis vests and hard hats rather than being dressed like Mario and Luigi from Super Mario Maker 2.
They weren't even raccoons.
And self-described hacker and obvious sadist Mr. has released a mod for the original Super Mario Kart on the SNES, which they describe as officially the worst thing they have ever created. The mod changes out the game's classic chase camera for a Resident Evil style fixed camera, which is great for cinematic angles and terrible for quite literally anything else, especially seeing where you're going. So, great idea. 0 out of 10, no notes whatsoever. But a better idea might be to just, I don't know, come back on Tuesday for more. No, Rapid Morse is not for those. Gaming news. You know what? Gaming news. It's free.
Today we're going to overclock this biscuit. For those looking for a high-end custom gaming experience, look no further than Falcon Northwest. Falcon Northwest has been building PCs made for gamers for over 30 years with a focus on a true high-end gaming experience. Custom cases available only through Falcon Northwest feature state-of-the-art testing and design to ensure that every component is performing at their best through thermal imaging and rigorous lab testing designed and overseen by the Falcon Northwest founder himself. With a complete lineup of systems ranging from small to large, every Falcon Northwest system includes a 3-year warranty policy and a year of 2-way overnight shipping coverage, providing the ultimate peace of mind. To see all that Falcon Northwest has to offer, follow the sponsored link in the description below. So if you haven't watched our 4070 Ti Super review, it lands exactly where you would expect. It's slower than the 4080 but faster than the 4070 Ti. Now what makes it different is the fact that it's AD103 chipset with just, I think it's about 512 CUDA cores, maybe a little more disabled. Versus the 4080. So because it's on the same core as the 4080, rather than like trying to overclock a 4070,
was there only one?
4080, that'd be very difficult because it's a slower core altogether. I want to see what happens when we take this.
I mean, I hit him for 84, so
and push it as far as we
that guy, he's long gone now. Is there only one else there? Is there anyone else that was with him?
The latest version of Afterburner and the latest with the driver from NVIDIA. So you see core voltages grayed out. That's because we got to go in here, enable unlock voltage control. I just wanted to restart it one time.
I ain't dropping down.
Slider. Nope, it's not. Could potentially be locked out of this particular card, but that's okay. In terms of power limit, we're given an extra 10% of power limit. Now that's kind of a big deal because of the fact, if you recall, the 4070 Ti Super 10% and then trying to pull the temp down throughout the test. Starting the test with the card as cold as possible, we usually lead the best temps because pulling temps back down is harder than, even at the same percentage of fan speed, than allowing it to find its max temp if that fan speed starts prior to the load. We're at 2955, so I want to see now, if I do 210, will it go up or will it crash? Okay, so there's 2970. So you can see right now the extra 25, I know I'm going to crash in the next 15 megahertz. Now, that means we're going to be getting pretty close to our stable limit right here. And I want to see if we can even hit 3000. I don't think it's going to happen because I need 30 more megahertz, and I don't have 30 more megahertz available in there before it crashes. So I'm going to try 215, see if I can't get one more boost in out of it. Nope, it's not going up at all. So I think for the sake of stability, I'm going to go back to 205, stay right there. That's 2940 to 2955. I was hoping to hit 3000 megahertz with this, but I don't think it's going to be possible without having at least 320 watts available to us. I think we're having a voltage/wattage limit here, not a core quality thing. Now what we need to do is, now that we know 205 is where our max is for the GPU, we need to figure out where our memory is going to crash. Because believe it or not, you'll more often gain more frames per second improvement by overclocking your memory than you will by overclocking your core to its limit. So sometimes if I were to go, instead of 205 on the core, if I went like 150 on the core, but then push my memory up to like plus 1000, which is actually very possible on both the Samsung and Hynix GDDR6X, you will get more improvement doing that than you will overclock most of the time. All right, so I'm going to go right for it. I'm going to go 500 immediately. What we're looking for here with memory overclocks is we are looking for any sort of artifacting. This is ECC memory. The GDDR6X is ECC, but we leave ECC off. I bet you it can go 1000, honestly. I've yet to find a card that can go 1000. There it is right there. Hey, 1500?
Oh yeah, they're sniping out there. I need to get them out of here probably soon.
That's the question. Yes, but keep in mind, you notice the clocks are lower. A lot of times what you're going to notice is as you overclock the RAM, that needs power too. We have a total board power that we have to stay within. So it's going to have to start dividing up the power limitation. So far that seems to be pretty stable-ish. I saw a flicker right there for a second, and it changed scenes, which could be indicative of the memory, because as we overclock the memory, it's going to start getting hotter too. Now these good coolers definitely touch the memory RAM chips, or the memory chips most of the time. Sometimes you find they reuse a cooler that doesn't touch them, and that's bad. Keeping the memory cool is also very important. So they also have a maximum operating temperature. I'm not entirely comfortable with that flicker that I saw. It was only for a moment, and it was in between a scene. I'm going to go 1400. So far, this seems to be pretty stable. So what I want to see now is how close can this card get to a stock 4080. Now, yes, you can do the pin.
I think we should leave before these guys push us.
But it's still going to cost you $400+ more. All right, so synthetics mean nothing. We need to see what actual real FPS in the game is. So I chose Forza only because it tends to be able to go higher FPS, and I'm curious as to what our numbers were before. But we're running these tests back to back. Obviously, there's going to be variance from run to run. So
you guys are leaving?
Anyway, I need to go into the settings here. We're going to do this at 1440p. I think that's realistically where some of this card would land. Although our test did show that 4070 Ti Super Tough did go up to like 118 FPS. So you'd be able to play 4K in a particular title. I'm going to do 1440p. I think that'd be a more realistic pairing. Okay, so we had a 160. Hey, 162. Okay, not bad. That's within margin of error. If you run the test 5 times and get it to fluctuate 1 or 2 FPS every single time. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and just go right to my MSI Afterburner. I'm going to apply that right there. And you know, the hottest it got was 59C. It was still climbing a little bit, but that shows the difficulty. Anyway, I'm going to let this cool itself down a little bit right now. It's coming down quick, too. 55, 54, 52. I'm going to run that test one more time, and we'll see where we come up from on the 162 there. So we came up to 170 FPS, 8 FPS improvement. So although you would still have a very hard time determining the difference between 160, 162, and 170, you can still see there is an improvement to be had there. Now, if you're doing the math on that, they probably came up about the same percentage that we increased our clock speed. It just tends to be the way it works. So that's the way that we go about overclocking the graphics cards. It's not a lot of room these days. Back in the day when we would have like 1,000 megahertz, maybe 1,100 megahertz on the graphics cards, we could overclock them to like 1,500 megahertz, 1,600 megahertz. You saw huge improvements because that's like 40%, right? So we're only getting single-digit improvement in clock speed in terms of percentages, which means it's not going to translate the biggest improvement on the FPS there. So if we compare that to a 4080, our 4080 run got our FE with a 135. I would say that's 4K. Sorry. 174 FPS in 1440. So 4 FPS difference. So I think one of the major takeaways here is that the 4070 Ti Super might go down in history over time as one of the sweet spot parts because it's so much cheaper than the 4080 launch pad. That was $1,200 bucks. So you know where we stand at that. $1,200 bucks for 4080. If they could manufacture this card for $800 bucks, same die as the 4080, which was $1,200, there's some scam, right? I don't know how else to call it. But what? Right now, being this close to a 4080 and $400 cheaper, I think this card is going to go down in history as a good, very, very high performing card for the money. It's not cheap, but it's a good performing card for the money. The 1070 and 1070 Ti were also very popular, very sought after cards. This over time, we'll just have to wait and see how that pans out. But I know the 3060 is gaining a ton of popularity in the Steam survey. So it'd be interesting to see how this card does over time. So I think realistically, the 4070 Ti, it's like, screw the 4080. But you know what? Doesn't even matter because you can't even buy the 4080 anymore. Well, you can, but when they're gone, you won't be able to buy them anymore because the 4080 Super is sliding in at a cheaper price point. Anyway, there you go, guys. Just a quick guide on how to overclock a 40 series card and the types of tangible improvements we can get. They're there, but they're hard to discern if you're running it in a game that gets super high resolution or a high FPS anyway. So there you go. I hate that they're becoming less and less necessary to overclock because I find that to be fun. But when the cards are already going 2,770 megahertz and we can overclock it 2,955, that's not a huge improvement. That's like getting 400 extra RPM out of your car. Not going to make a huge difference at the end of the day. So whatever. There you go, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.
No, my guy's nice.
By the way, yeah. Wow. These guys are all, they're having fun.
Yeah.
For you guys to sit here and be like,
If you went to the grocery store, gave them your money, and left with 10% less Vegemite than you paid for, you'd probably be pretty ticked off. But what if I told you that happens every day, except with $350 CPUs? Well, it's true. These 12 chips were obtained over a span of a month from 8 different sources spread across 3 separate countries. And the real-world difference between the best and the worst of them is 8% in Factorio and as much as 12% in CSGO. This has caused a lot of problems for us over the last 6 months. You see, in April, I gave the labs team the goal of increasing our testing throughput so that we could give you guys more juicy benchmarks in our reviews. Fortunately, the math was not in our favor. You see, the typical turnaround to troubleshoot, benchmark, write, film, edit, and QC our coverage of a new product is 5 to 8 business days. At about 5 minutes per test, times 3 runs for consistency checks, times however many products we want to compare, times however many games or applications you guys want to see, it is easy to run out of time. Now, we could shorten each test, but we've found that longer tests are more consistent from run to run and end up being more reflective of the real-world experience of using the product. So that's out. And I guess we could work through the nights like a bunch of Adderalled-out master students, but yes, we're not that young anymore. Automation with Markbench does help a lot, but if our system hangs in the middle of the night, sometimes, we're right back where we started, which leaves us with one real option: building up more of our test benches and running our tests in parallel. Except, as I already told you, 8% difference in Factorio, 12% in CSGO. Now, when I signed the procurement authorization for 11 CPUs, I knew that we were likely to find an outlier or two. But then it turned out that this rabbit hole went way deeper than I could possibly have known. Like with these, our sponsor, Nexigo. Whether you're in need of webcams or VR, learn more about them at the most of our chips were within a few percent. Learn more about them at the link below. Now, before you start sharpening your pitchforks and demanding that AMD's executives be turned into thermal paste or something, it's worth noting that most of our chips were within a few percentage points of each other, even in CSGO at 1440p, which was the test that saw the greatest overall spread. Also, when we expand our comparison to include our full suite of games, that maximum difference falls to around 2.5%.
Match found.
Far less outrageous, so you don't really have to worry about buddy in front of you in line getting a way better gaming experience for the same price, but still too big for us to buy any 2 random 7800X 3Ds, use them to test 2 different GPUs in parallel, and then say, well, these results should be comparable. Now, the obvious conclusion at this point, then, is, guys, there's something wrong with your CSGO test. I think it's time to get good. But the thing is, there aren't a lot of variables here. And that's by design. We used the same motherboard, same memory, same Windows drive and install. We even tested using phase change thermal pads to ensure that our paste application wasn't an issue. And we chucked our bench in the thermal chamber just for good and to get good. But the thing is, there aren't a lot of variables here. And that's by design. We used the same motherboard, same memory, same Windows drive and install. We even tested using phase change thermal pads to ensure that our paste application wasn't an issue. And we chucked our bench in the thermal chamber just for good measure. We are very confident that our numbers are valid, and we're going to have the process doc linked in the video description if you want to have a look. Which is all fine and good, but doesn't answer the much bigger question of, why do these CPUs vary so much in the first place? AMD gave them the same model number and specifications. AMD charges the same price, so they should have the same performance, right? The day that was true, CPUs would run at their rated speed, and if they didn't, it meant they were either broken or they were about to be. But thanks to a relatively recent innovation called dynamic frequency scaling, that's no longer the case. You see, no 2 pieces of silicon are the same, and whether it's through rolling improvements to manufacturing or just sheer blind luck, you can end up with a processor that is capable of better than the advertised clock speed. Now, in the old days, you could unlock this extra performance manually through overclocking, but nowadays, processors just adjust their own speeds, and they do it on the fly based on a whole host of factors, including user configurable power profiles and thermal limits. AMD's approach is to allow the CPU to clock as
If you
high
guys need
as
heals,
it's able
please comment,
until
because
the
there's a
CPU
good
die
chance I'm not
average,
gonna
which is
notice.
about 90 degrees Celsius. at
Watch
which
out,
point
don't turn your
the clock
back
will
on
be
that
back
door.
Until it reaches the Sounds
Ping's
good,
like
right?
800 right now for
Why
some
be
reason.
bound by some artificial performance limiter when I got a golden chip that can go high?
Spike
I
planted.
actually agree.
Last player
But for the folks who
standing.
end up with a lesser
right.
chip, can feel a little bit like
I'm sorry, my
missing out,
ping was
even
like
if
800.
AMD is careful to
It was
only
30
guarantee
normally, now
clock
it's
speeds that
showing 100.
100% of the chips can hit. And, as I mentioned before, it's also very inconvenient for our parallel testing endeavors. So what do? Testing. Lots of it. After throwing Cinebench at our very first CPU, we ran into our very first roadblock. The numbers from run to run can be vastly different. I am talking 300 point spreads on a single CPU run back to back. What the heck, right? How on earth are we supposed to narrow down which two CPUs are within 1% of each other if one CPU isn't within 1% of itself? As it turns out, software was the culprit, and software is notoriously hard to account for. Have you ever opened up Task Manager right when you boot up your system? There's no programs running, nothing should be happening except... Wrong! What was that? Here's the thing. Even when you're doing nothing, your operating system is busy managing all the behind-the-scenes work that keeps your system running, like updating the weather widget, synchronizing the clock with a trusted time server, prepping the next thing it thinks you might
there
be,
too,
installing updates, and so much
Sky!
more. And
Echo's on top of ramp.
What are you doing?
when that stuff happens, which means that no
Spike
one
planted.
result can ever be taken as gospel truth.
Alright, what am I
We
doing?
do have custom Windows images that are
What is
intentionally
Sage doing?
de-loaded.
Last player standing.
I'm in a fight with someone on ramp.
But it only partially mitigates the issue, and it reduces
Like I said.
now results slightly less representative of the truth.
So what happened to
We say
Spawn
that
for
trade-off is
heals?
worthwhile because it helps us to better isolate our variables in testing, but it's not even enough. To
I
further
died and
demonstrate
I'm
the
angry
work
already.
that Windows is doing
Yeah.
background,
Dude, I have no want to play this game. I have no want. I don't know why I'm playing this game right now.
We went from
Yeah,
seeing
don't
points
be
varying
toxic,
in the
bro.
hundreds
It's fucking
down
iron.
to
We're
the
all shit.
tens on the same CPU. That's a big improvement, and enough to use Cinebench for our bidding process.
Kill my
but
copy.
we're not out of the woods yet. You see,
I
with
know,
some
everyone's like
tests,
fucking
it's not
fucking
enough
chill
to
pill.
use the same hardware at the same process priority because the benchmarks themselves have built-in inconsistencies. Red Dead Redemption 2, for example, simulates physics and AI behavior during the benchmark. That's a really good thing, because if that stuff was canned, our
Spike
results
down,
would
mid.
not be comparable to actually playing the game. But the bad news is it means that sometimes Arthur loses his hat, sometimes he doesn't, sometimes the horse gets shot, sometimes it doesn't, which can impact our run-to-run consistency. Can we ever fully account for this? Unfortunately not. But by running each test multiple times and then taking an average,
One enemy
we can
remaining.
get a pretty good picture, and we can bake that expectations noise into our data analysis, which finally happens now.
Hey, Stumble.
Sorry for all the preemption.
Now is our chance.
First up, gaming. For the sake of legibility, we named each of our samples after a Pokemon. Why Pokemon? I don't know, because it seemed better than deadly diseases? Anywho, looking at the geometric mean of our gaming results, we found a 2.07% spread in average frames per second between the best performing and the worst performing CPUs, and a 2.46% spread in our 1% lows. This puts all but one of our CPU samples within 3 frames per second of each other, which gives us confidence.
It's Reyna all the way back.
Some close enough CPUs, but given that 2.46%
still there?
isn't 1%, it also tells us that we can't just pull any 3 chips at random, nor can we simply look at the average. Returnal, for instance, is a benchmark because A, it's actually a good game that people might want to play, and B, it is a stunningly consistent benchmark, which is
Sky was
great for
planning.
producing results that we can trust when we're comparing GPUs. But the real world is a lot messier than Returnal, and while most of our other games, both at 1440p and 1080p, showed a similar small
Shut up,
level
top
of
Reyna on the
variance
back
in
door.
CPU performance, in a couple of games, notably Total War Warhammer 3 and Cyberpunk, we found larger variance
player
in the
standing.
levels. This indicates that, at run, these games are more CPU bottlenecked, which better reveals the deficiencies of our worst chips. But as you can see, not all CPU-bound games are bound in the same ways. We went into this process thinking, CSGO, what a classic CPU gaming benchmark. It's a shame that it's been replaced by CS2. We came out of it thinking, CS good riddance. I mean, on the one hand, it does certainly separate the CPUs from each other, and our slowest chip, Corsola, was the slowestest in CSGO. But on the other hand, the overall variance is so high and so different from the entire rest of our test suite that it becomes almost an outlier data point having an outsized impact on our results. And this could be for a number of reasons. First, CSGO uses a game engine that is older than YouTube, which has been useless for years since it was originally built just for single-core CPUs, and it can make use of just about all the single-threaded performance that you can give it. But it also means that its performance requirements just aren't very similar to more modern games.
I was trying to get in the wall under me. I don't know what the fuck happened.
Last player standing.
I'm just laughing at your reload with 5 bullets and then missed your wall.
Old enough
It was
that
funny.
any modern gaming CPU runs so fast that no professional esports gamer even could tell the difference anyway. And so
she was
fast
back there,
that
yeah,
limitations
to the
in the
left.
software itself
Where
can
she
start
was
to
on
rear their
Sage's
ugly
wall.
heads, which
killed
adds
Sage.
potential variables.
You have no time
Basically,
anyway to save.
CSGO is having its
Dude, I got so many kills.
After a long run, it's time to drop it. And when we review the overall variance numbers without CSGO, it shows just how much of an outsized influence that it had on our results. The new results show far less variance, closing the spread to just 0.46% and 1.43% for the average and 1% respectively.
I'm just buying trash like
Somewhat reassuring
buy
for
next
you,
round.
the consumer, but still doesn't change that our runaway loser Corsola is still a dud. Corsola consistently underperformed the
Yo,
rest
Sky,
of
is
the
that a
chips by
voice changer?
so much that when we remove it
No,
from
I'm
our
a girl.
results,
I'm 14.
our overall spread and performance goes from 1.43% in our lows to 0.86%. That is a massive decrease. So,
I'll
what the
send
heck
you
is wrong with this thing? We don't know for sure, but one guess is that the 3D V-cache on this chip is struggling some way.
Woman's up top
Fumbles
there.
pretty hard in our
You're
first
14.
results, where most of the benchmark can actually live on that 3D V-cache.
I don't
Other
believe that.
possibility is that it could be the
Here, I'll send my
PCIe
TikTok
controller.
after.
Part of the system is
No, thank you, please. No, thank you. Don't share anything with me.
Yeah, exactly.
This idea
No, I'm not sharing it with you guys. I'm sharing it with.
productivity performance still ain't top of the
Nice.
class, but it isn't clunky like it used to. Speaking of, we actually found greater variance between our chips in our productivity tests, which kind of makes sense since we no longer have the
So where's that TikTok
GPU
at?
getting in the way of raw CPU performance. Sevens brought us a spread of around 3 to 4% for compression and decompression, and Blender hovers in the same realm
What the fuck?
along with our video and audio
Nah,
encoding
bro, you're a
speeds.
rapist. You're actually a rapist.
Biggest contributor to the size of the
I
size
am,
of
okay.
is Lugia,
Weird.
who takes up the bottom spot in pretty much every productivity benchmark. Since it wasn't so bad in gaming, this leads us to believe that perhaps there's a problem with the integrated heat spreader, but AMD has made that much more difficult to evaluate now that all of their CPUs just kind of run at the same temperature and then adjust their clock speeds to reach their thermal limit. So, across our small sample, variance in performance is present, but not egregious. We aren't trying to quantify variance.
Spike
What we're
down,
trying to
B.
find is equivalence. How do you do that? It turned out to be a bit tricky. We ended up using Euclidean distance to determine which
One enemy remaining.
Euclidean ramps?
Dimensional, but also kind of cool. Here's how it works. First, we scaled our data so that our 5-digit Cinebench scores don't overshadow those low flacking code numbers.
Where is that
Then
bitch?
we took those scaled numbers
He's
and
dead.
treated
Player
each as a
standing.
coordinate for a point in
Yeah, I was looking at
multi-dimensional
the map.
space.
Sorry.
Think about
Don't
it kind
do
of like
that.
this.
Don't do
If
that.
we took a plane
Or
and
he's
chose
just
2
gonna
points,
plant and you're just
those
gonna
would
sit
each
there
have an
and
X and a Y coordinate.
Yeah,
How
have
was
the
Japan,
spike.
bro?
The Euclidean distance
Huh?
is the
Oh,
distance
winner
between
dies.
Oh,
Whoa!
he took the
2
spike?
Wait,
What
The
the
closer
fuck?
together the points are, the more similar. And this can be applied
Nice.
for points that exist in
I'm better.
any dimension. In our case, a 12-dimensional
was
space
great,
for
bro.
productivity,
I have
and the 19th
like
dimension.
I have so many kills
Since we're
too.
weighing all of our tests as equal, we can then do a bunch of comparisons to determine which
What did you
CPUs are the most similar to.
I have so many
Who you
kills
talking to me?
too.
4 emerge as extremely
No, he's
comparable.
talking to me.
Eevee, Mewtwo,
I don't know why
Raikou,
he's looking at
and
my
Zapdos,
TikTok when
with
he
Zapdos
didn't
being the
ask
least
for it.
equivalent. So
Me? I didn't fucking. I'm not looking here. I don't even have
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't
You
gonna lie. That's kinda
weirdo.
weird, Scrappy.
You guys
Scrappy,
are
you wanna talk
yeah,
about
go,
it?
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's
Too
what I'm
bad
talking
this whole
about.
thing's recorded and being streamed, and there's no way that I was looking at anyone's TikTok because I don't even have fucking.
I didn't ask for it. You kind of just offered it, but like I take the chance.
I don't even
I just
have
asked if you were.
TikTok.
See, now the real question was, were you using a voice changer?
No, but no, I gave it to him because he sounds
gaming,
good. But this
you see a spread of
Sage
0.8
is not.
Wow. Well, okay, I'm older than you. All right, let's start
and
there.
just 0.1%
Well, I know you are,
in
but you
frame
don't
rates.
sound that much.
Now that
compared to Sage.
tight enough, we figured that it will allow us.
What are you
Sage is a
talking
grown-ass
about?
Yeah, you can
Across
tell.
our test benches.
Oh, I'm
And
sorry.
Jets?
How fucking mean are you, little
you see where I'm going with this. We found near identical.
fucking ages?
What about that?
Yeah, bro,
How
you're
am
looking
I-
at a 14-year-old.
How am I looking at a 14-year-old anything? I don't even have TikTok. You guys are weird.
Bro, you
That's-
didn't.
okay, Gen Alpha, Gen Alpha, Gen Zoomer.
Prove it to me right now. Prove it to me right now.
You use fucking Chinese app. You guys are weirdos. You're using Chinese apps on your phones so that they can just
What are you
surveil
talking
you.
about Chinese apps?
What do you think
That's a little
TikTok
racist.
is? You
Just
fucking.
because it sounds like Ching Chong doesn't mean it's
No,
Chinese.
what do you think? It is Chinese. Are you dumb?
You're Chinese.
How fucking dumb are you, dude? Go to get a fucking education. Jesus
Guys,
Christ.
I have a better education than you.
You
wanna
don't
go right
know
now?
who-
You wanna run it?
you don't
wanna run
know-
it?
you don't
wanna
know-
run it, bro?
Yeah.
You're literally arguing with a 16-year-old. Run it right now.
Congratulations.
Come on. This is
Get
how
a
you-
fucking
this is how you spend-
degree.
What day is it? This is how you spend your Thursday nights.
Anyway, to validate our
Play game
hypothesis,
here.
we
Bye.
took one of our
Sage
future
said, "How
test
is Japan?"
CPUs,
And I made a TikTok about Japan.
and threw it into
Bro,
both
it's lying.
of our
I'm not using
new parallel
TikTok,
benches.
like what?
In gaming, we landed on 0.45% variance in the 1% lows.
So you
and
don't
less
know
than
what
a
ByteDance
tenth of a
is? Is
percent
that what you're
in
trying to
average.
say?
Yes. That is
I don't.
more than
What the hell is
acceptable.
that?
And in productivity.
Oh my god, what's wrong with your generation? You don't even know who owns the apps that you use?
Oh, what are you talking about?
Seriously?
Yeah, I do research on what I'm using.
ByteDance is the fucking company that made TikTok. How dumb are you kids?
Okay, it doesn't say that on the app. So why would
Oh my god, dude, I don't have
I
to
don't
do
know.
a
I think
background
you
check
might
on
know
everything I
something
do.
about. Yeah, that's why you're using the app. Dumb shit.
We have always encouraged our viewers to
Give up
look
all
for
your data.
Omen I can respect because he's not looking at a 14-year-old.
How could I be looking at something that I don't have? You guys are weird.
Dude.
Oh, okay, buddy. Okay, buddy. We get it.
So you
Bro,
don't
I'm not even
have a viewer, for example, that buys their own.
Yeah, we
Why
know you're
would
just
I
looking
put a
at the TikTok
Chinese
page right now.
surveillance app on my phone? That makes no sense. I'm sorry that I know
I don't
better
even know
than
what you
that.
just said.
You will not kill my ally.
Yeah, that's exactly my point. You don't know.
In a good but not exceptional range. So I think we can put that in the theory. Another
Last player
is,
standing.
yes.
Bro, Neon, you're like the best player I've ever
Operating system updates.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie,
and
bro.
software that we add to our test will change our CPU performance spread in the future. And we're going to do our best.
Says someone with 7 deaths.
Periodic, what we're going to call equivalence
Okay.
checks.
At least
What are you
I know.
yapping about right now?
Right? Like what?
You are
I
literally
said-
the bottom of the leaderboard, dude.
I said NT and bro
Why
said.
is this task
Bro, yeah,
falling
bro
to
has
random
2
YouTubers?
kills. Like what?
I mean, the automotive industry,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
instance,
yeah.
has government bodies that are dedicated to verifying the performance
Pro
of vehicles and ensuring that companies aren't cheating on their testing. Then they dole out big fines when they inevitably do cheat on their testing. With computer hardware, there's no such oversight. We and our peers are this thin, open-mouth thumbnail line between you and getting ripped off. And that's a big problem. I mean, for one thing, we don't have access to the types of testing that large tech companies have, and we don't operate at the kind of scale where we can say for sure if an observation is a fluke, or if it's the result of conniving suits that are trying to save a quick buck. Even buying 11 chips for this investigation, I would say, is a huge investment from our side, and not the sort of thing that we can do with every single review.
Last player
Unfortunately,
standing. Spike
all I'm
planted.
doing is ranting along. I don't have a solution
I'm
other
so
than,
still not
oh,
know.
we're gonna keep trying, gosh darn it. But it just struck us as we worked on this project. The fact that these companies don't have to report things like estimated performance in a regulated and standardized fashion is kind of crazy.
I'm not gonna lie, Sage, you're kind of
Especially when you
quiet.
Consider the kind of
Yeah,
money that they're
I mean-
asking for their most expensive CPUs.
You had a lot to say earlier.
So, what's next? Well, first is going to be going through the exact same rigmarole with however many 4090s it takes to parallelize our CPU test platforms. And then slowly but surely, we're going to be improving our automations and increasing our test beds, especially once we get the lab website up and running. But good things take time, and we aren't going to rush a good thing. Especially, I'm not going to.
Yo, Sage, would you be a deer and go hit X on my body? That'd be great.
Our sponsor. Delete me. Your personal information.
I'll take the
sounds
silence as a
like
maybe.
it should stay private. I mean, it's right there.
Get out of my way.
Well,
No
data
charges
brokers and other sketchy companies disagree, so they're
Yo,
sharing
maybe we
your
should
data online like it's a family-style dinner.
Hold on, I know how to get to him. Give me 1
Leave them
second.
alone. So they're saying to each other, thankfully,
Fight
delete
down.
me here.
One enemy
They'll
remaining.
find out who's stealing your info and get it removed so that scammers can't use it to batter you with robocalls and spam emails. Never mind that it can also lead to fraud or identity theft, because Delete Me can mind that for you. Now, wiping out data held by hundreds of sites
If
by
you don't get
yourself
res, I'm
sounds
reporting for
borderline
self.
impossible.
Here.
Which is why this whole time I've been trying to tell you that Delete Me
step
can do
down
it. You don't have to. Their nifty software and expert squad can sweep it away in minutes, not hours.
My God,
Delete Me
dude, what is
averages
going
over
on?
2,000 pieces
He's
of
gonna
personal
ult.
data
30
gone
seconds
per
left.
customer in their first 2 years.
Best
Yeah,
players.
go on, Delete Me, get them. And you
Nice.
should get on over to the link below and use code LTT.
Y'all still muted. I couldn't handle all the fucking
If you guys
yelling.
enjoyed this
Last
video,
round
why not
before
check
the
out
switch.
our motherboard
No point
Turbo
saving.
Nerd Edition
Buy it
video
all.
where we went into
Kind of miss hearing your
all
fun
these little
voices,
things that
but
look
holy
like
shit, you guys are
cities and
fucking annoying.
towns on the PCB.
Wow, okay.
Joining us
Wow.
now is Emily Kopp. She's a reporter at US Right to Know. She's done some of the best work.
I feel like
that there
Omen's
is
like,
on the lab leak hypothesis.
I feel like
on
he's
the
nice,
internet.
but like
She's
no.
joining us now.
I
for
feel like
our
Omen's like a
latest
dad.
report. Thank you so much for joining us, Emily.
Great to be here.
Absolutely. So we've covered your work here for a long
Yo, I
time.
think my
We
dad
have
played
one of your
Valorant.
latest that we put up there on the screen. Let's see it. U.S.
What rank
scientists
was he?
proposed to
I've
make
got your
viruses with
trail.
unique features of
My
SARS-CoV-2 in Wuhan. All right, so it's a headline, which is, we got a little bit of some jargon in there. Unique features, SARS-CoV-2. I
Did he
think
make
that's created in
Brimstone? 'Cause
Wuhan.
that's like
I
the
think
dad.
that's a little bit familiar.
Yeah,
Some
he
of our
did,
viewers
actually.
probably know, but just break this down for the average person
I
with a
also
little bit of
the dad.
familiarity.
Might
Oh,
have to.
all right,
What did
we
you
called
find in
it.
this report?
Sure, so it's a little bit of an understated headline, I'll give you that, but takeaway is origins of COVID
Last player
question mark?
standing.
Basically, what we found is that some of
Yeah, I
the
got it.
most unusual features of the SARS-CoV-2 genome, the things that made SARS-CoV-2 SARS-CoV-2 the most
Switching sides.
pathogenic virus of the last 100 years were, I mean, they're very rare in nature, but they were central to the esoteric research interests of the top coronavirus virologists in the world, Ralph Barrett, and the top
The rain is pretty good,
coronavirus
huh?
collectors in the world, Peter Daszak.
Yeah, he's alright.
And, the Wuhan
Yeah.
Institute of Virology. We also found that while these scientists told the U.S. government that
Actually,
they were going to be doing this high-risk virology
Amazing
at
it's even close compared to the
UNC under
KDAs, none
relatively
of us are
strict
positive.
biosafety protocol, they were actually going to secretly be outsourcing much of this research to the Wuhan Institute of Virology under
Probably
an
push the same
inadequate
site.
biosafety level,
Go sell
essentially in order
sachet.
to save on costs and to be able to do the work more quickly.
Mhm.
So, obviously that is very concerning.
Yeah, I would say so. So let's talk about the Alex Washburn et al. Preprint that kind of led to this reporting that you did. And so we can go back to Bob Gary too, who's a Tulane University virologist who people might recall was involved in that first kind of famous, now infamous conference call with Anthony Fauci in February 2nd or 4th or whatever. Between the first and the
Last
fourth,
player
where
standing.
the
Oh,
virologists
one
all at
tappy.
the
She's
beginning
so
were
good.
leaning towards it last week, and by the end of it are now pronouncing organized public statements and
No!
articles saying that there
Guys,
couldn't have been
that
a
was
lab
so
leak, and everybody's
close.
crazy who thinks it is. But Bob Gary, at the
Guys.
time,
Yeah, she one
observed
tapped me running.
the
Sorry,
makeup
peeled off me,
of
killed you.
COVID-19 and identified some unusual features of it,
Let
which
them try to
takes
get
us to the Washburn paper. So what did Bob Gary find, and how important was that to your report?
Sage, we get it. You don't want to
Sure,
play
so
anymore.
I'll start out with what is, I think,
indisputable at this point from our reporting, and then I'll get into the more controversial.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, that's not that far. I can make
so
that
the stuff
trip.
that's indisputable is that the scientists working with the Wuhan Institute of Virology were interested in making engineered viruses in the lab and testing whether they could infect human receptors. And their so-called gold standard would be to identify viruses that could cause disease.
See my hands.
They were also knowledgeable about two things that could essentially supercharge a coronavirus into
he's tweaking. He's
cause disease in humanized mice. And those two features were a furin cleavage site at the S1 S2 junction of the spike protein and a receptor binding domain that was very good at latching onto a receptor.
On my body.
And when SARS-CoV-2 first came out, those virologists who initially said
one enemy remaining
privately, "Oh no, this looks engineered," and then came out with a paper that said, "If you think that this is engineered, you're crazy." They were privately very concerned about these two features, the furin cleavage site at the S1S2, and the fact that it was sort of immediately very good at infecting human cells. And so the documents that we obtained show they lay out their plan to create a model where they could create engineered viruses with these features that we
Sage is wasting quite a few things,
but that are exceedingly rare in nature.
I
That all is indisputable at this point. I think there have been.
Hold on, I just realized I'm the superior
people
Fluffy.
like
Hold on.
Robert Gary, who have really nitpicked and said, well, it's not a furin cleavage site of the S1, S2, it's a furin cleavage site of the S1 or S2.
Yeah, I probably just jinxed myself.
Are we going B?
You know, the
I don't know. Where do you want to go, babe?
make it very explicit that they were interested in precisely viruses like SARS-CoV-2. The Alex Washburn paper that you mentioned around restriction sites, I think that's a little bit more controversial and requires a little bit more scientific inquiry. But what they found in 2022 is that a pattern of restriction sites, and restriction sites are essentially little bits of code that occur in a
babe, I'm dead. Babe, I'm dead. Turn around.
Used in the lab to engineer new viruses, but they also
I don't know where they are.
But what they found, they did a statistics around how likely is it that we would see this precise pattern, and they found it to be very unlikely. And so the new documents that we have, confirm their intention to create synthetic viruses with these restriction enzymes in 6 pieces, which is what the Washburn paper found. And they also include a budget line for one of these specific restrictions.
Right, let's talk. Stop.
Nice try, honey.
Sorry about that. So the paper says, okay, there's these 6 different, whatever. They basically predicted, okay, if we were going to do this, what you would need would be this one particular
enemy remaining
of thousands of enzymes.
He said 65.
That are able to do this research.
Sage is doing something?
Sage is not cooking.
Sage. Oh my God, Sage! Unmute! Come on!
Unmute. We're talking good about you.
Sage. Sage, maybe if you clutch again, we'll allow you back onto the TikTok.
Yeah.
You would need this particular enzyme, and the chance that they actually then purchased that, and it all being a coincidence, takes it from infinitesimally small to me.
Sir, it's called calculator.
Anything other than a smoking gun. So why is it still considered?
Hey, buddy, it's a calculator.
Even among, some people who have recently been saying, yeah, I believe I lean toward it lably. But I want to see more scientific inquiry.
Holy shit.
Get out of my way!
Yeah,
the jet is like awesome and terrible at the same time. You can't use anything in this.
Because it does require knowledge of statistics and of bioengineering. So the number of people who can really evaluate these claims, I think, is pretty small. But some scientists who are a bit more skeptical, like Alina Chan, they basically point to other viruses in nature that are very similar to SARS-CoV-2 having similar restriction sites. And then you get kind of another layer of complexity, which is that there is a debate about how many silent mutations you would see on sites in nature versus in the lab. And so I think that's something that scientists need to duke out. I think another
so good.
A cautionary word I've heard is that Rob Barrick, this coronavirologist who was working very closely with the Wuhan Institute of Virology, he was known for doing this sort of work without any.
If you had a TikTok and we're over 35, I would look at it.
Sites is. he patented no-seum technology, no-seum being
Just
the name
random.
of a
Who's the dude?
insect in North Carolina where he's based.
I'm kidding around.
So it's almost unusual
fuck
to
no.
find a pattern like this if we expect it to be Barrick's idea that the Wuhan lab was working with.
Yeah, I mean, what really concerns me, Emily, is look, I've never believed, obviously, in natural origin, but let me ask you,
You want me to
Chris
smoke it?
often does this. How would you steel man?
I never
you know,
play
your
smoke, so
reporting?
if you want me to smoke somewhere, just tell me.
What natural origin hypothesis at this
I'm
point?
gonna go.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, Omen. That's a little
seasoned
weird.
healthcare reporter like yourself, what would the critics say in response to this?
Smoking's not weird. It's part of the
I
game.
know. I feel the same way. That's why I'm asking you. Yeah.
Well, I think the possible coincidence
She's in the corner behind the yellow box.
the
Oh,
pandemic
damn.
first being detected at the wet market. That I think that story.
Nice try, nice try.
Why does it say I got
behind,
it?
two behind.
When we started.
I don't know.
I love it in crosshairs.
I
It's
think
like it's
the idea that early cases clustered around the wet market. Is based on,
Sage, you had. I guess it was a
really bad
one-round thing.
analysis. I think the idea that spillover occurred at that market is based on an analysis that was recently suffered a major correction.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
So
we go A.
So it's hard, but
Whatever you want, honey.
You know, I'll give it to my opponents, I guess, and say that I think it is hard to explain, just given the information that we have, the limited information, why it was the wet market that, you know, where we first.
But can't we just say, like, yeah, that's where the Chinese first reported cases? I mean, they're the ones who are responsible for they control the information that we get, not vice versa. It's not necessarily like that. Yeah.
Continuing to occupy the mind space of the virologists who favor natural origin, I would say some of the first people who detected the pandemic were doctors in Wuhan.
Right.
You know, I would also say I've done reporting showing that the doctors in Wuhan were censored very heavily and gave a lot of validation for early reporting. So whether that early reporting is actually reflective of the earliest cases.
Weapon here. Your duty is not over.
So, I mean, given the documents you've obtained and the work that you've done, right now, news outlets are busy submitting their different articles for Pulitzers. You know, I think, I don't even know if US right now is eligible for a Pulitzer.
I've got your trail.
The work that you've been doing on this, but I'm curious what it's been like to see so little.
How does Sage always the last guy alive
on this reporting? Because we're talking about
Bro, he doesn't do anything.
pandemic that killed at least 24 million people.
Oh, it's all right, Dad.
Here, upended our geopolitics.
50-50, they're already on it. I was hoping he was underneath.
The number of people who are suffering
Time to stock back up.
from, you know, having lived through COVID, and on is just, the damage is incalculable. And the evidence points to a small group of people breaking rules because, you know, the Obama administration had put in place restrictions around this type of research that they, you know, went around in order to do this. Small group of people, we're talking fewer than a dozen perhaps, doing something not on purpose, you know, but recklessly knowing that it was a possibility. Anthony Fauci in 2014 said that, you know, the potential risks outweigh the benefits of this type of research. I think that's absurd, given the costs that we've endured. So what's been like, from your perspective, to see so little follow-up at this point? The New York Times, if you only read the New York Times, you believe that it's open and shut case. Came out of that, you're racist.
It was a bat, and then it was a raccoon dog, and that was
Yeah. So what's been like to know the opposite and to watch this unfold?
I mean, it's maddening. It makes me feel like I'm losing it a little bit. But I mean, I think some of the things that are at play are the same things that are making this show so popular. I think the mainstream media is becoming culturally irrelevant.
Last player
and
standing.
To me, I think my theory
One
is
enemy
kind of
remaining.
coming out of
Good
the
work.
space and knowing kind of the culture and some of the editors
They're just
who
bad,
are
or
running the health and science desks at these major outlets. I think they're friends with Fauci, to be honest. I think it's just.
Nah, you just clutched that. You just clutched that. Literally, just single-handedly, just
they
carry
really
the team.
admire him, and I think they have a hard time grasping the idea that someone who had good intentions and who might not be a bad person might have made a catastrophic error in judgment.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the smoke. If you'll remember.
Oh, Sage is a little keyboard champion over there with the NJ, huh?
I know. Came out later, and he's like, "Look, I didn't delete it because I was
So,
afraid."
fuck
He literally
off,
said that.
you
Yeah,
weirdos.
yeah.
I won't be nice.
Yeah, he came out and was like, "I've known Anthony Fauci and Peter Daszak for 30 years. I believe them." And he's like, "They misled me." And he's open about it. He's only open about it because he's no longer within the system. So I guess finally, we can bring this. You've effectively solved the case for us. But what else is there? Like, you're obviously going to continue on the story. What other things are you going to potentially inquire in? Can our audience help you? What can people point you in?
I want to plant B.
Well, your audience can definitely, follow us. Obviously, I think we're punching above our weight, but we're not the New York Times. So that every little bit helps. Every follower, every subscriber to the newsletter.
Damn.
I think
It's okay,
next
honey.
steps. This, latest document set, I think, lays out
What?
how Bustin probably got its unique features,
I
but
just do.
we still don't have the starting genomic sequence. And even the guys, the virologists who very strongly favor a natural origin have said a smoking gun would be identifying that virus in that lab in 2019.
Got it.
So I think if we can confirm that they were doing
fuck
this
off.
experimentation
They're, like, right
with
above
urine cleavage sites, with receptor binding domains that bind strongly to ACE2, with
You
something
shoot her?
like
They're gonna get her.
SARS-CoV-2,
Shoot her.
I know. Why didn't you shoot
truly
her?
game over.
I don't know. I felt bad. She kind of just looked at me like
One
that.
thing the audience could not do is
She's gonna
jump
win.
She's
into
gonna
like
change her TikTok to that now, so you don't get to look
Oh,
at it.
dude, I'm not getting the TikTok anymore. Oh,
Stop it.
did I just ruin our relationship, honey?
Yeah.
You did. I thought it was true love, and then you.
Bro, I
fucked
swear I
it
thought it
up.
was true love. Honestly, it's a little weird that you're talking about teenagers' love, but it's okay. I'll allow it.
Not at all.
I think I might be a
He's right.
little.
He's right. And that's why
It's
you
okay,
continue
honey.
to do the work that you continue to do. So people can follow you on Twitter. What's the most helpful way?
Get out of my way!
I think subscribing to our newsletter, US Right to Know.
Okay. We'll have a link down that in the description. Everybody will also support Emily's work, follow her on Twitter, etc.
So they're
We will
not.
see you guys later.
Hey guys, if you like that video, go to breakingpoints.com, become a premium subscriber, and help us build the best independent media organization on the planet.
That's right. We're
So they're
subscriber
funded?
funded. We're building something new. We want to replace these failing mainstream
I don't know
media
where they are.
organizations.
So again, to subscribe, it's breakingpoints.com.
One enemy remaining.
Flawless. Nice.
Now you're going to do 10 reps. Take down the weight a little bit. We'll do 10 more.
I'm over them.
And then we'll see, we maybe not add in the partials today.
What's a partial?
Half reps.
Oh, cool.
I think that will be a little bit too. But one drop set, fine. That's fine.
How do you not throw up? What if you throw up the workout?
That happens.
I don't think it will.
Okay, great. Alright. So 40 pounds.
Focus on keeping that every
Dude, I thought I had a Spectre
Slide a
from
little bit
last game,
further. There you go.
and I just sold a Vandal last minute because I had exactly enough, and now I have 0.
Obviously, we'll struggle more on rep number
Shotgun.
10, on rep number 1. Try to keep them similar. The same technique on this. If you can't do more, anything.
Ready?
I'm out of here.
Oh, that's good. Make sure you're breathing.
Breathe in.
You will not kill my allies.
One enemy remaining.
Again.
Hold out.
Breathe in before you start lifting.
I'm sorry. Nice.
I'm allowed back on the TikTok. Let's go. I had to redeem myself there. Whew.
But I can patch a bullet hole or two. Let me know if you need healing.
I kind of want to go B, but I feel like every time I have a feeling they're B.
Keep them slow, same technique. 2. 1 more.
What are we doing? A again? Because it's working? Or are they gonna stack the shit out of it?
I guess.
Rip the light from them.
Or you guys can
Oh,
all,
spike.
or like me and one person can come A. Oh, okay.
No good reps.
Enemy spotted B blinding.
Enemy down.
My bad, I got distracted. I was watching the TikToks.
Her dog, like, ran into my dog, so.
Too dead.
4.
Reloading.
5.
Oh my god, that's so annoying.
6.
I know, right?
7.
One enemy remaining.
Oh, I got a kill.
Good job, honey.
8.
Thanks.
2 more. 9. Lower on the negative. And 10.
Last player standing.
Thanks for the sacrifice, Sage.
Oh, doesn't
Good work, Pops.
Squad. Gotta play that.
No way we win. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
I know,
don't say
right?
that. It's too early.
Yeah.
We go to the next exercise, which was
You have parental approval. Good
cooldown
job.
raises.
Professional hockey players were pelted with tens of thousands of plushies in the middle of a game earlier this month. The fluffy pandemonium broke out.
Yeah, I just looked at the TikTok, right? Who's that one boy, bro? Do I have to be jealous? What is this?
I
don't know, you made a TikTok caption that one boy.
Chuck them onto the ice. But it wasn't just because they thought it would be fun to nail a bunch of hockey players with stick
That's not
The
good.
giant teddy bear toss.
Oh, it's over. Oh, no.
All the plushies are collected.
No.
They're
The other
all
way, fuck
donated
this.
to local and regional charities.
No, it's okay. You don't have to take it down. You don't have to
broke
take
the hockey record for the most plushies collected during the
I'll
toss.
take
With
it.
a total of 74,599 plushies launched into the ring. Hershey Bears player Chase Crispy says that it's just a phenomenal
You don't have to
feel
take it
when
down. It's alright.
tens of thousands of teddy bears start raining down on you.
Nah, I don't want tension in our relationship, honey.
While skating
Oh, it's
among the
already
sea
down.
of stuffies, which required a 40-minute
already
game
down
delay
before
to
I know
collect. Pumped up on stuffed animal-induced adrenaline, the Hershey
There's
Bears
actually
then
no
went on
way
to
you
win the
just did
game in
that.
overtime. I'm Jen, and I feel something positive every day.
Your duty is not
Sage,
Sage, make
no
it stick.
offense.
last player standing.
Sage, you're selling.
Spike down mid.
Okay. Oh.
Papa Bear is clutch of this.
Wait, rate the TikTok.
30 seconds left.
Which one?
The elevator just goes straight in.
The first one.
And there's a little lobby here, so if I ever
Where I'm like in this one.
Spike planted.
It doesn't work that well, but you know. And this is Mimi. I shaved her recently. I did a very mediocre job, so if she looks weird, that's absolutely my fault. Welcome to my humble abode.
I ain't gonna lie, that's a cute ass dog.
Alright, she don't
I
like
just want to preface by saying this place
What?
is entirely too much.
Who
for
could?
my
How could you not like
very
you?
well aware.
That's what I'm saying.
Year-ish lease was kind of like
I didn't even know it snowed in Kentucky.
myself. Will I get that much return?
Oh, we
on my
got crazy
investment
weather
if I
here.
get a really
It changes
nice
every
apartment?
day.
I'm happy to tell you. I am moving in a couple weeks.
Oh, it's alright, Pops.
You sold!
114, 114 too.
And I hope you guys will enjoy
Now we're in
it.
overtime.
Let's
Wait,
take a look.
yeah,
I'm just
now
like
we're in
the
overtime.
someone behind the
Alright.
camera.
Well, if you guys weren't planning your marriage,
Switching
focusing on the
sides.
game.
Alright.
Overtime.
See living room
My
and
advice?
kitchen.
Now
I
I'm
spend probably like 50 to 60% of my time here. If I'm not on my PC, I'm for sure here. Sometimes I just don't feel like gaming, and I feel like literally drowning
So,
in this
did you
couch.
follow
It was like
me?
a cloud couch. If you watch
Oh, my
my
bad. I'll follow you
videos
right now,
in my
honey.
last apartment,
Thanks.
I got this couch, and as much as I love it, you literally will like sit
You
here.
guys are
Do you know what I'm saying?
weirdos.
Like you just kind of, and it's very hard to get out of because it's wide.
I'm like laying into it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's wide.
The
It's
legs
super
are
comfy.
like.
This is my TV.
I got you, I
love
followed
it
you.
because I watch
You already know
a lot
Fluffy
of
1220.
reality TV shows and other TV shows and K-dramas, and TV runs my life. The
TikTok's
first
also
thing I
Fluffy.
did was get a subscription to like
That's
the
the video
majority
game
of
name. Oh,
the,
shots
like,
B, shots
streaming
B.
services because I wanted
It
my
really
place
is
to be very
fluffy.
like cozy. If anyone comes
Yeah,
over,
bro.
I don't want to know
you
the
sit
rest
on the
of it
couch
because I'm
and
not
you
looking.
watch.
Oh, Fluffy
That was
1220. Don't worry, I got
vision
you.
for this place, like a cozy little getaway for all my friends.
I like your note there. It's a welcome.
Yeah, I don't
So they're
post on
A.
TikTok,
They're-
unfortunately.
It's Toga.
You know what?
You can add this down to the Oh, they are behind me.
Side piece. Like, you know, you have like your main partner.
Dude, the
and then
fake
you have
Fluffy on the other team just killed me.
Spike planted.
I'm gonna pretend
Oh, I
like
gotta kill him. Where's he at?
understand.
You know, like when you're not really
Avenged him.
feeling your main piece.
But we're
sit on
kind
the
of
side.
fucked here.
If you sat in there, you probably would get it.
Hey, we got
Very
next round.
cozy.
I'm out of here.
I get it.
Yeah, I like my side piece. Yeah.
Last player
Oh?
standing.
Alright, it's
Yeah,
okay.
I'm not like that. I'm not like that.
It's
Unfortunately.
okay, it's okay.
So the way this apartment complex works is there's this level
Switching
which
sides.
has all the
Match point.
units, all the apartments. And then
Alright,
you
this
see
side is where we
above,
cook.
those are called the villas, so they're houses. And one time they told me, they were like, honestly,
Do we
sometimes
go
people
B?
rent these
Because
units
they'll
and they're
expect
gone
us
for
to
the
stay.
majority of the year.
Go quiet or make noise, or
That's really
Ooh. So
money.
like
So
somebody
wait, is
come
this your
B, somebody
backyard?
come
Or is
B,
this like a shared space?
and
What
then
is this?
everybody else go make noise A.
Hi, sweetie.
Make them think
I'll
they're
smoke
where-
off A. I'll smoke it.
We'll play B
And it
quiet.
makes me so happy
Wait,
to
just
see
stay.
them just sat out here
Stop.
hanging out. It
Whatever you
brings me
say,
so
honey.
much joy that
I'll
it
follow
brings
you.
them so much joy.
And I see she's
Sage.
shaving.
So Mimi gets like dingleberries. It's gross.
Hey, there's a
And
kid right
Madden
here.
sometimes like refers to her, and her phone really gets so long that she cannot
Die there.
Like, she'll go
Nice
to do
finish.
that, and the hair just keeps going.
Oh, he talks
like
now.
Once or twice a year.
There's still
About
one
damn
on
time,
A.
Sage.
I know it looks kind of stuffed.
Get that thing down.
And she really
Some
did
people
that.
He's never speaking again.
So I'm happy. So this is my backyard area. I always thought those were lemons, and then my friend Janet
Told you,
tried
this
it
is where we
once,
cook.
Not lemons. They're like grapefruit, and they
Sage is mid.
One enemy remaining.
Nice.
Yo, W.
Reloading.
like the main reason why
Oh, good work, honey.
So good.
I feel like I'm freaking trapping them in like those
Switching
illegal
sides.
rails at those. Right? Like it just makes them so happy. The only issue with that
We
though
know
is
he
my
did
cat
not
is
want
a
the match.
fake artist.
Yeah, Sage.
She is
Never quit,
determined
never
to live
surrender.
in the wild, and I know
Yeah,
that's not what- yeah, so I have to set
Someone
up these,
once
like,
told me to never
insane
surrender because anything can happen.
It's like chicken wire and stuff, yeah.
Yep, and then the bird quickly thingy.
That's some inspirational ass shit, honey.
One time when we did get out there, I had to break into another person's yard.
Through
and
the
I got
calm,
her,
I
but
see.
couldn't come back.
Through the
So I had
storm,
to break
I
into the
fight.
home. Thank God it wasn't a house. No one actually lived there. So I broke into the yard, into the home, into the elevator, and into the elevator and back up.
So what you're saying is it's possible to break into these.
If you are in a yard,
Yeah, I don't know who I blinded, but I think it was
Yeah,
definitely.
you blinded me.
Yeah.
You blinded me. Got skills. Oh wow.
This is an exit. There's the lobby again.
Last player standing.
What the hell? I'm cracked. Alright. See, this is not the side where we cook. That's the problem.
No, but we have to win that one eventually.
Switching sides.
I'm so glad I'm
Match
posting this
point.
after I leave so they can't kick me out. Is there such a thing as like renting?
How are we so horrible on defense?
I mean, if you're already out.
I would go
I
into
see no sentinels. I
the
guess we don't.
houses
Because I'm the best spike carrier. That's just what I'm good
And I
at.
had to find a way to get my freaking cat that's about to
See, like, whenever
fall
me and
into the
Fluffy get
black
married,
pit that I'm about to show you guys and die. So I broke into the yard, to exit, do whatever I
What
did.
she said.
And as you say that,
Just don't flash your
Like
teammates.
if these didn't exist, she would
All
be
good.
out of here.
What?
Out of here.
Well, you mentioned a black hole. I'm very curious
Ooh,
now.
yeah, so let me show you. In the lobby, there's
Raina,
this
you're invited to the
huge
wedding.
pond sort of thing, and basically this connects to the first floor lobby.
Yeah, Overlook, you're
So if
good.
you look above,
Someone's
it
gotta
is
pay for
literally
that
just a
shit. That's what you want.
Mimi
It'll be
Omen,
us.
Omen, you'll be in a goddamn wheelchair by the time we're done here.
She was walking on that ledge. On
I am
that
already,
ledge,
man.
and I
Jesus.
thought,
That hurts.
I heard
Best
my
stage player.
outside.
Best wall.
What's going on? Doggy little sometimes Dorothy's okay.
Is
like
that you
everything.
blinding me again?
Last player standing.
No, I'm not. I'm
The
not.
rapper and his girlfriend are on that ledge, and they're just talking to my cat. It was really cute.
So just play time.
You're all mid.
Is this a rapper that I would know?
They might be mid.
I don't know who they are.
One enemy remaining.
So we're playing.
Nice.
Omen, I.
Oh, Grandpa, I love you.
Let's
Am
go.
I
I
invited back
told
to
you
the
this is the
invited
side.
back to the wedding?
Switching
Can we?
sides.
Let's lock him up.
I just realized why you were like whispering earlier. It's because the hole.
Sage is being a Debbie Downer right now by being the only one of
And
them.
I hear everything.
Shut the fuck up. I didn't even vote.
Sometimes I think it easier.
Fuck, you guys are letting a
Whatever I feel
50-year-old
about
guy out frag
Let's see
you.
the kitchen.
What the fuck?
Let's go.
I'm a girl. I suck. What?
Whoa,
Wait.
So
Wait.
this is a new game. Just about the only downside for this apartment is the placement of this guest bathroom. Because when my friends
Wait,
come over,
They're pushing A hard.
One
Three
mid,
A.
2 B, 2
One-
A.
Everyone's gonna hear me if I take a shit.
Well, they push A every time.
Yeah.
Say B.
Right behind you. And you're injured.
I meant A. I meant A.
Omen up top on the back A.
Nuh-uh.
Another place I love
Amazing.
because I beat
Spike planted.
Yo, how am I?
Cover me!
that area.
Half, maybe.
One enemy remaining.
Oh. Okay, Reina.
This little aisle.
So you're
so
cooking?
nice for cooking streams, so you can like cook here and have your family behind. So
Okay.
all I can cook is
Okay.
eggs, make some good
Oh,
fucking
we wanted
eggs.
defense.
what?
What the fuck?
So we win
Like,
this?
apple cider vinegar. Rude.
Now we cook on O.
I really should
Of
clean
course.
it. If it can, I don't even think it should be.
Yo, why is that in your fridge?
Switching sides.
Open my fridge
Match
actually
point.
because I wanted to talk more about my love for eggs.
Do you have a style?
So now go immediately into A, and then me and one other person will play quietly. Me, Sage, and Fluffy will play super quiet at B, and everybody else just go A.
We push A. Alright.
I
Yeah.
have some kimchi,
Push A
some
hard.
almond milk.
There's like some
Wait.
Tupperware-ish
Yeah.
things. Are these meal prep? Are these leftovers?
So these are meal preps. I have a friend who's just
Sage,
amazing
listen,
at
come here.
cooking, and so
Sage,
I
we.
just made her this making healthy meal prep. Don't worry.
Alright, honey, we got this.
Not today yet. I just don't want to get into cooking with the app. And I know I'm gonna be fast for a while, so I need like a real motivational
I came
factor.
from hot.
I don't want to lose.
I mean, isn't cooking
Don't
just
grab
kind of
all.
like an IRO game though?
I like cooking on my
They're
phone.
rotating mid, I think.
For now, actually,
Got Sage.
I like to bake. Like,
Just
I like baking because
Dink,
it's kind
yeah,
of you just
dinked her,
follow
but
the
she's still alive.
Cooking, you gotta learn so much more. Baking, this
Gotcha.
is doing a science experiment.
Got jet! Got jet!
Well, I'm noticing you have a lot of bread, but you have a whole shelf with flowers.
A little bit there too. I just want to see how when we get.
Omen's on top, coming to the back door through kitchen.
40 Sky, 40 Sky. She's under that.
Pretty. And I'm kind of worried about losing and they are gonna.
One
But
enemy
if
remaining.
They do, I'll take another chocolate sky salad. I'm not giving up on you. I gotta tell you about this though.
Sounds like she's in kitchen.
So I went back to Morocco this summer and I
Here.
haven't gone in a long time. Finally got to see some of my
Oh, look at what I did!
Attack
Sage
win.
just
You
won.
pretty fucking tough right there.
Let's go, Sage!
Sage did
Let's go,
something.
Sage!
I love.
real tightly duct tape, a paperback.
That's how you come
Wait,
back.
this is a
It's honey, but
Motherfuckers.
it's really freaking
Treat me like
good,
shit, and I
premium
still win the
local
game.
honey in Morocco. So nice. I have this whenever I'm sick or when I'm making something with honey.
and you have the Koei machine. A lot of our friends
Remember
have.
put me on a co-way? BTS, they were like the global ambassadors for Koei. The best fucking water you'll ever have in your life.
Yep, Scar got one for our house. We all use it. Yeah.
You could never go back once you have cold Koei BTS water.
Thanks, BTS.
Thanks, BTS. I am an absolute supplement hoe. Yeah, I listen to Andrew Huberman. No, but seriously, those freaking supplement ads, oh, they got me. They got me good. So I have so freaking many there. I think probably 3 to 6 a day. They're really good. So when I said I was a supplement hoe, I really meant it. Sorry, I should have cleaned this better. This is more supplements.
So when you opened this up before and pulled that out, I was like, oh, it's your baking shelf.
No. Bro, I got dumpling sauce in here. Like, what in the variety? These are brand new Mina bags, which I freaking love so much. So I have this little breakfast nut. Isn't it cute? I'm not gonna lie, it's very depressing to sit here alone, but when you have friends over, it's amazing.
I'm just imagining you with your eggs in the corner there. She feels comfortable on camera.
More than comfortable. She got it from some mama. I made some pottery things.
You made that?
I made this thinking of Lily, the flower, you know. And I have some plants that are really holding on for dear life, some that have let go of life. And then I have this plant has been with me 2 years. We're in a long-term committed relationship. But you know what they say about the 2-year mark? Things get a little rough. So it's also kind of holding on for dear life, but we're making it through.
surviving. So please watch the next house tour to see if it is still alive. And this cute little thing, I just have some crochet stuff that my friend Michelle made. She streams too. I'll put her Twitch because she's so cute. And can you imagine someone live streaming like crochet? That's the cutest shit I've ever heard. Moving on. Oh,
Ooh, book reader.
I freaking love this thing. I know everybody and their mom has it now.
Can you pick out like 1 or 2 recommendations or favorites in here?
So again, the thing about this is I read everything from like self-help to like juicy fiction books to like smut to books about physics or design. So it kind of depends. What are you in the mood for, you know? Self-help?
Sure, let's go with the self-help.
Self-help, I personally love Essentialism and Tools of Titan. I think those are really easy recommendations and things that are applicable to just about anyone. Anyway, room time. Oh, also, I got this commissioned in my last apartment. I don't know why I didn't do a tour of my last apartment, but it was meant to resemble the stuff that I had in my apartment. So there's like the cloud couch, there's the golf thing, there's Mimi.
So you're bringing your last apartment with you, and then you'll get art done of this apartment.
But this was cool in the other apartment because it was my apartment in my apartment. I love this. And there's a similar piece around the corner here, which I forgot to mention. This is like my front door area, and this is also the cloud couch, the stuff I have. Mimi.
I love the attention to like light here.
Right? Because my last apartment, I was talking. Great artist. I'll tag for everyone. Alright, where do you want to go, Broden?
Should we save like a bedroom for last or stream room for last? I know that these are 2 separate places for you, correct?
I love separating these 2 rooms. It's really good for mental separation. Let's just go through the house. We'll do the bedroom first.
Yeah.
Welcome to my bedroom. Do you want to see the bathroom first?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, so this is my bathroom. We've got a bidet, a squatty potty, and also where my cats poop twice. Like, the goop.
Is this a specific brand?
Oh god, not that goop. I mean, like, generally, I love to try a good new product, you know?
Okay.
So this is my first hoarding area for goop. All of my skincare products. This is my bedroom. Whoopee.
Oh wow, so much art.
So this is where I filmed the podcast, and I wanted to set up something like this in the back. A lot of this stuff, if you've seen my last room tour from about 3 years ago, a lot of these pieces are all the same. I kind of just bought one set of things, and I still really love them. Ooh, this is goop area number 2. Like, a lot of goop, a lot of goop, a lot of goop.
Do you throw away the goop, or are you like, ooh, I'll come back to this goop later?
It's an in-between. You throw it away when it's been a long time, of course, because it might expire and stuff, but ooh, I'd be hoarding a little bit. I'm like, oh, maybe this goop for this day. And then you rarely use that goop anyways. You usually use the same goop every day.
You use the goop you know.
You use the goop you know. I like that. I'm gonna put that on a shirt. I have a lot of cats. They just make me so happy. This is a very important part of my life, because this is where... And sleep is very important. And I'm a little bit about my sleep. And this has gotten a little bit worse year by year. At this point, I might as well look like an astronaut when I'm going to bed. Silk bonnet, eye mask, lip tape.
Lip tape?
Yeah, it's about the only time of the day that I fuck up.
Does you literally tape your mouth shut?
Yeah, have you not heard of it? It's so that you don't mouth breathe, and it leads to deeper sleep.
Whoa.
Yeah. Also, I had a lot of like dental work, and he was like, you should lip tape. And I said, okay, doc. But oftentimes, if you use it consistently, you'll actually feel more energized when you wake up.
What?
Not everybody needs to. Like, if you're a perfect sleeper, you breathe through your nose all the time, you never wake up, you probably don't need it. But if you do wake up throughout the night, if you maybe mouth breathe sometimes or snort, lip tape out.
Interesting.
God, I feel like I'm being like a snake oil salesman kind of person right now, but yeah. I've got a little magnesium spray. I read before bed. I have a sound therapy machine. You see it has some rain. And it has different things. I have my Oura ring for when I want to track my sleep and be extra strict. Again, angry human lover, what can I say?
Wait, before you go, I noticed you have an affinity for like little guys with headphones with closed eyes.
Oh, hold that thought till we make it to the stream room. This is me and Janet from like 5 years ago. Hello! This is be, I guess, my third book collection. But it's been so fun to collect these students because not only they all have their unique little smell, they might remind you of something, and then right away, and you just get the mood. These freaking bottles, just so nice to look at. I've had this one for a long time. I had a much smaller perfume collection about 4 years ago when I still lived in the OCD house, and I filmed a TikTok sitting down from whatever. People saw this in the back of my TikTok, and they thought it was a massive black. Damn, that perfume smells so good. And it's probably expired. I think that's such fake news. Like, I don't think perfume expires.
I don't think so either.
Literally, water smell. This is my beloved closet. Come on in. I got a lot of clothes and I love them very much. We have jackets here, everyday tops and jeans there, and we have things that I reach for a lot there, and then some skirts, and then shoes, and then stuff. Oh my, I'm such a hoarder. This room brings me a lot of joy. It's always been a dream of mine to just like have a closet of things that I really love, and every year you put up a little bit, and a little bit.
So I'm curious, you must get like sent so much clothes and go through so much clothes,
Not
no?
anymore. I gave up on that life like a solid 2 years ago. I will only accept clothes if I like hand pick an item or two. It's too much. It's so wasteful. And alas, I forgot about shit.
How often is like your closet seeing things where you're like entering a new piece, retiring an old?
Pretty frequently. I try to be as considerate as I can with the pieces that I buy. Anything else, typically you would donate, but what I prefer to do is like to actually give it specifically to someone who might want it, or to my mom who wants everything. And sometimes she gives it to family, or she gives it to someone that she knows might want it. I try not to go into the mindset of just like buy a bunch, remove a bunch, donate a bunch, because I think, especially in LA, there's probably so many things that you donated all at the same time. It's not easy, and I'm not the best at it, but I try to be as mindful as I can be. Especially given my line of work where it's like, you wear something, especially to an event, and it's like, can you really wear it again?
Yep, you post the photo.
Yeah, no, all those clothes are in the other closet, and you should just wear the same stuff. Be an outfit repeater. Also, this invention is Tabitha, and she's so cute. The cutest.
Did you two see me?
Oh yeah. Love it.
Can you show us to the piece de resistance?
The stream room?
The stream room.
Pokemon room? That's what I call it. You'll see why. This is the Pokemon room. Welcome. Let's start with an appetizer, the bathroom.
Okay.
Now this bathroom is a little kooky. Oh, I wish you guys weren't wearing shoes to step inside. Oh. You'll understand why. Step inside. You feel that? See the glory. Dude, pushing floors. You like gassy. Like, that's crazy. So what? I live in Los Angeles.
Yeah, when are you gonna be cold here?
Not often, I'll tell you that much. But this is basically the only place I shower and or bathe myself. All the other bathrooms are just boxes, frankly. Yes, you're very important too. Another bidet, of course.
Is that a swipe bidet?
I think he owes me one. He just hasn't.
Wow.
Big loss, because I do bidet. You know? Oh, she's yelling because she mainly likes to drink from. Who is she from? Actually, I don't even know if this is bougie.
You've got more goop in here also.
Yes, this is another little goop collection, especially in men. A lot of collections.
Oh, wait, can you show us? This is interesting.
Please.
A shower bath?
Yeah, the shower here and the bath there, which is nice because you usually want to shower after the bath. A bit of goop collection behind you. Different groups for different days and different hairstyles.
There's goop in every corner. Yes.
That's a quote. Dude, my cats are always peering at me through this glass door when I shower. It's a little inappropriate. Dude, they actually not seeing good.
Yeah, are you worried?
No. Okay. No. These are more closets, as I mentioned. Maybe with like.
How can those guys not be dead? It's unbelievable.
The Pokemon room. I call it that because there's so much Pokemon stuff. Fortnite sent me this sleep box. You think it's just a normal stuff box, right? Oh, PR, nice. They took my first ever Fortnite Victory Royale on a clip on this. Is that not insane? And now I can never throw it out. How long will the battery last? I don't know. This is a piece of Pokemon memorabilia. Yeah, very cool. So these are Skull Panda little collectible figurines. They're just so cute. They spark a lot of joy. I just might have noticed I'm not much of a minimalist. I don't know if I'm a maximalist, but
I think it'd be a healthy mix of both.
thank you, because I wanted to be a minimalist so bad, especially like 2-3 years ago when it was really trendy. It's not happening for me. I like goop and collectible figurines too much. This is my miscellaneous stores, kind of. Everything from press-on nails. I like to be able to pop them off. Oh yeah, I have photos here with friends. I have photos of my cats, my assistant printed. I'm like, well, I don't know, they're so cute. Tech drawer, another tech drawer, more tech drawers, and this is more tech drawers. It's too much stuff for one human being, but you know I've been in this line of work so much, I just have to do things, and so don't you really useful that I can use it?
I'm gonna be honest, I'm just like you. I just have a bunch of drawers where it's like, hey, maybe I'll need this one day.
Maybe I'll need this particular camera one day. I really wanted to do like a huge, like almost like yard sale giveaway, but it's all free. Like I just put everything somewhere and I'm like, go here for some free shit. Maybe someone will not. Then again, honestly, my community is so nice, they'll just be like, you can have it, no, you can have it, no, and I would just get annoyed anyway, so I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Do you have any ideas? Let me know. If anyone wants a, this one's great actually. I think it's a Sony, A5100. What a shame that I'm not using it.
You kick off someone's screen.
I've been trying to figure out what to do with this, and I still haven't figured out the perfect thing, so I'm glad I can at least show you. I've been collecting like every single patch at every single convention I've ever gone to for the last 8+ years. I don't even know.
So it is so funny you're showing this. I just had to like take something out. I had a pile of these as well. I collect all of them too. If you come up with something cool to do with them, please let me know.
You know what I was gonna do? But I didn't get around to it. I wanted to put them all up by the breakfast nook. So I just have to figure out, like, I want to display them somehow. Or, like, make a piece of art with them, and then I'll hang it up on the neck. This is a lot of the fan mail I got this year, especially in Conquest. I love keeping these somewhere. Sometimes when I'm sad, how parasocial it is. But they're really, really cute. Great memories, you know? Like, imagine 70s, 80s, reading those. So cool. Okay, look at that baby. Oh, did you see the video when I showed the difference in fake wall? So sometimes when I'm streaming, someone will come into my chat and say, like, hey, I really love your room, it's so cute. This is a fake wall. It's not even a room, man.
I did. Yes. So did you build this for yourself?
Yeah, handmade. Paper mache, actually.
Yeah.
Yes, no, I did. I called up a service where they just insert a wall in the middle of a room. I really, really like natural lighting, and so I wanted my stream setup to sit in front of the natural light, but I can't freaking bring that wall closer, and it looks really weird, super open, so got a fake wall. I have a 2-PC setup, which I adore. I love not having to worry about my PC both streaming and gaming at high quality at the same time. She's like, please get a shot of me, please. She's just like her mommy for real.
And then behind us,
The background, I actually put this together. I tried to design. Did my best. I used to have some stuff here, but then I moved it to behind the podcast setup. Then just a little corner. Actually, like this. You heard of these?
no, what is this?
It's a candle warmer. So it just kind of warms the candle and you can smell it
You
everywhere.
don't know what a
without there being
fucking
a
camel
flame, which is
warmer
really nice,
is?
especially if you have pets. And so my whole stream, the whole time, it just smells like I'm baked. This is Love from the H3 podcast. I've got several awards here.
Yeah, you want to go over these real quick?
No. Anything else?
I think that pretty much covers it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to show us, or?
I don't think so. I feel like this house tour was a little vulnerable. You don't really realize how much your house like reflects you. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me show you out. Wait, we still haven't seen Bo. See if I can make him come out. But Bo. Not even a candy? Okay, now I'm worried. Luckily.
Is he a tag?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
It's pretty good.
I think he's shy. There's no people with him. You see how he runs with his Bustin though? I forgot to show you one of my favorite things about this apartment. Before you head out, this is not just a lobby. It has a trash chute. It's not the trash chute that I love. Look. Rubbish! I freaking love that this doesn't say trash, it says rubbish. Just throwing out a little bit of rubbish.
We've never left England,
And
yeah.
I always, in my head, that's how it reads. Yeah, I think that's about it.
Thank you for your tour.
No, thank you for filming. I couldn't have thought of anyone better to be the behind the camera voice than you.
Well, thank you so much. I'll be on my way.
Let me help you out.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh my god.
I don't trust anything online, and I never will. Especially not WebMD. And, that has nothing to do with today, but recipes, I don't trust them when I see them online because they're usually terrible. But there's one that's been going viral that piqued my interest about vanilla ice cream, olive oil, and sea salt. So we're gonna see if it's actually any good. Because to me, it sounds like one of those gross out things that people do as a prank. Like when 4chan used to tell you to make your own custom cooler during the summer. Poison. They would poison you. Yeah. I don't know about that. Let's try it.
What it is? They're just like, oh, I'm gonna get poisoned based on some random shit I see on the internet. Awesome.
I'm gonna
Fuck
cut
it.
some of this little piece.
What the
This is probably
fuck?
the best food for a cut. It's ice cream covered in fatty oil and salt with salt. The salt's fine. That should be good for your veins. Yeah. Why are you getting like kind of drag across? I got it. You got it. I didn't realize our ice cream scoops had like a little rubber at the end. Isn't the reason they're all missed? I think so. Yeah, a lot of them have liquid, so that it. Oh, so that one was. Okay. Are we just like a scooping olive oil? Yeah, I just thought like a small sample.
Two there.
I don't know the ratio, so I'm just gonna do a healthy dollop. I think that's good. Wow, that's a healthy dollop. Good. Yep. Let's try it just like that, and then add salt. Okay, yeah, we're trying each step. Gross. I don't want this. Yep. That tastes like olive oil. What I thought it would. Add the salt. Maybe that's when it all comes together. Wow, that's not good. Yeah, that's good. Olive oil. It's just olive oil. Maybe my ratios are going back in, bro. My ratios could have been off. Roadside, I spit it out. It's just like I don't want a spoonful of olive oil. Yeah, give me some more. Some more ice cream, not olive oil. Oh, you're gonna get more of that too. I did want to wait till we tried it to point out because it's not gonna hurt you, but you might think so that our olive oil expired. I didn't know olive oil would expire. I didn't either. Down here, whatever you think is the right amount of salt. Wow. I think that's right. Yeah. That's fine. I don't want to wow after what you did with the olive oil. Make sure you get enough olive oil on your ice cream. Well, I guess my spoon's already coated, so now I can take the fresh ice cream. I don't know if it burns you before I eat it. Wait, does the salt make it like purple? Why? There's no fish anybody's life. That's so fucking gross. And I feel bad. So is it this salt and oil combo? Yeah, but it doesn't leave your mouth. Because it's oil. I know, it's going my whole mouth. I thought this was gonna be good. It just seems so basic. I'm like, there's no way it's gonna be olive oil. That's revolting. Yeah, because was too much salt and not enough olive oil? I think it was too much. Was there an actual recipe that can
Here, Alright, pull out the recipe.
Yeah.
So, we've done it our way. Okay.
That was so disgusting. It's called olive oil ice cream fleur de sel. Wow, bless you. Fleur de sel. Is that salt flour?
Look, it took 5 years of French, okay?
My throat hurts, actually. I mean, yeah, we just fucking swallowed oil and salt. That's so gross. That was awful. Alright, yeah, what's the oil use on that? I didn't even use a nut. That's the problem. Oh my god, you don't have barbecue chips? What's the barbecue chip? It's crushed up barbecue chips on vanilla ice cream. They say it adds a... You know what, you want to go grab some barbecue chips? We'll do that next. I'm going to actually try to... I can follow, you know. What's it say? You can read it. Hold on. My throat's closed. It is. Grab a water bottle too, Chelsea. Alright, so ice cream. And yeah, sea salt. Is it sea salt? Is that what we're talking about? What else on that? Quarter cup of... Oh, yeah, we don't have that. What is it? Just pure oil. You know what makes me mad? All the places we do it in this. That call extra virgin olive oil. Evo or whatever, EVOO. I'm like, just fucking put extra virgin olive oil. Alright, it drives me crazy. This is just food. Where we went wrong, man. We used the poo. Well, to be fair, I guess we're not doing the best. We have expired olive oil and non-sea salt. Okay, but be honest, if it was, I don't think it was like not expired. It doesn't taste expired. This just tastes like normal olive oil. It doesn't. I don't get it. I'm sweating a little bit. I'm taking my hoodie off. Oh yeah, you got it. Yeah. So it's a quarter cup. They homemade their ice cream, but Bluebell's better than anything we can make. Let's be honest. All right, so. Quarter cup, I'll see what she brought. 3 cups. Yeah, that's fine. So I would say... you brought Chipotle from... We know where it starts.
What the fuck?
Oh. I want her back. Now we're measuring properly. What do they call for a quarter cup? Oh my god, that is so much oil to just see. It's definitely, we used less ice cream. Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, yeah, because the ratios, you know? Yeah, but you're just taking a piece of ice cream. It's not like you're mixing it together. That's true. I've got olive oil everywhere. I'm gonna poop later, and it's gonna slide right out. I'm actually not gonna make it to the bathroom. Alright, how much salt did it say? Pull up the schematic. I think we may have gone wrong with salt. We used a lot. 2/3 a cup. Wait, that's so much salt. Wait, they've got to be talking about. It's for no. Oh, that's sugar. That's sugar. That's half a teaspoon. Half a teaspoon. I was like 2/3 cups of salt. That's just eating a cup of salt. That's an iodine. 2/3. That's right. No, you said a teaspoon. Half a teaspoon. Half a teaspoon. That's perfect. That might be good. I think I'm gonna listen to this. What's this? Get in here. I barely missed in. That's so low. That is so low. I don't want a kidney stone. In case I use mix your fine. That's fine. Fine. Just like that. You're ready to mix it. Yeah, mix it. Alright. So I'll take a little. I'm just gonna get a little bit. We've already had 400 calories. Oh my god, it's so... Yeah, get on in there. It's so gross. I don't know why we think this is going to taste any different than the last one. Cheers. Oh! There's no way anyone eats this. There's no way. There's gross. There's actually no fucking way. Enemy team nearing victory. It's just poking fucking mouth. Sloppy. This had to be a prank. It has to be. Classic TikTok at it again. Pranked me. It has to be. Let me get that out of there. That's so much good ice cream. I completely agree. Yeah.
Nothing goes to waste here. We give it all to our crew.
You know who would actually get that is Caleb.
Absolutely. He'd be like, sure. And,
Oh, good olive oil ice cream?
we'd be like, take a bite, and he'd eat the whole thing, and he'd be like, I'm fine. And then we'd find him puking in the bathroom. Classic. Alright, so real quick, just as a show here. Tinker a little bit of chocolate on your spoon. You too. Ball along.
You guys could do it like a tequila shot. Put the salt on the back of your hand and rip the ice cream and then.
I think this will be fine. Yeah, there's just sea salt and chocolate.
Your team scored.
That's good.
Yeah. There's like salted chocolate.
Yep.
Down.
The second you add that olive oil, it's gonna be revolting. Alright, let's waste a little light. Let's just. You happy with that? Yeah, that's a good amount. We'll try a real amount. And just, yeah, a couple tiddlywinks. I'm fixing the rest. Oh. There it is. Did any of that make it in the mold? That did. There we go. Boom. Alright, here comes the chicken cream. Here we go. Yep. Chocolate so much stronger. Math, but here.
It's not bad enough yet.
Yeah,
Let me go back in.
we're not doing the I could swallow that one.
Yeah, that one made it down the pipe.
Now it's TikTok. Yep, that's the one. Yep. I for a vanilla one. Sometimes you like everything you hate. If you like this, then we'll know how to do that.
And I'm like reading, there's so many articles that are saying it's like, it's the best thing ever. Yeah. Like, I feel like it's not actually a
Are you
hack.
okay with my spoon?
You don't have to. We have
Oh, yeah, perfect.
the whole thing.
That's what I
You
thought
don't
too,
want
which
my
is why I thought it'd be like. We're just gonna do one bite. Like that. Just do some olive oil on that, some salt. Dress it up. I won't go crazy, I promise. Okay, well, you smooth that out better. I'm dripping off the excess.
As you do with your oily ice cream.
Yep. Then, here, let me go back here. Yeah. Pinch it. Well, more. Yeah, right. Well, 2 pinches. That's not even a Florida soul. Now, and stick it in my fingers. There you go. That's probably good enough. Well, it needs a little more salt. Oh, yeah, take a little more.
Okay, cheers.
This is why you have 2 chefs make this. Yeah, because one
Okay.
judgment is always biased. I knew it was bad. Should be okay.
I don't taste the olive oil.
You didn't put enough on.
If you didn't taste the olive oil, you did not get the recipe. That is actually what the recipe called for. We went by the measurements. Oh, don't spit with the can. Jesus Christ. Okay, yeah, see, it's not good. Now, so when you had it the first time with less olive oil, did you like it, or was it just tolerable?
I think it was tolerable. I don't,
Okay.
but I also didn't like taste the olive oil.
So you just had ice cream with
Yeah.
salt on it. Okay.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't get it, because everyone was like really raving about this. And I don't think it's a joke. Like, I don't think it was ironic. Oh, it's so bubbly. Alright, yeah, let me
Get me.
Yeah, hand me a spoon. Hand me a spoon.
We haven't destroyed the table enough. We have to keep going.
God, we really should open our own ice cream shop. Bam!
I guess so just dip it.
The hands of a surgeon.
Yeah.
But I'm more losing the ice cream. Let me just make sure you get That was almost insane. Oh. It looks like he's so mad. It's just like you don't taste the ice cream at all. It's just salt and oil. I know the first thing to comment about ice cream. It's just shit. We went by their measurements. Yeah, but we didn't measure the ice cream. Well, then
It doesn't matter. It's still a scoop of ice cream.
No, it's shit. It's shit.
So you're not mixing it together like a
It's
soup.
really fucking bad, no matter what you do. Wow. Who would have guessed we were led astray again by a TikTok recipe? I'm tired of TikTok pranking me. Yeah, alright, let's try the barbecue chicken one now. This is one. That's probably the same. This is one Chelsea found. It's probably really good. But vanilla ice cream. This one can't be bad, I don't think.
When you're really high.
Yeah. You know, every cheat meal I take each week, my ice cream with barbecue chips. There's zero chance this is bad. You think? Like, actually? Yeah, I think this is pretty good. I put barbecue chips on my sandwich, like if I go to a sub shop, which everybody knows that's just like a scoop of vanilla ice cream. Yeah. I just spit everywhere. Okay. You can't tell. It's always all over the table. Well, that's the problem. Everything's just slipping right out of me. Not as good as I would have thought. But better. Yeah. By a landslide. Not even a competition, really. Yeah, you do get like a little nice smokiness. Yeah. From the bourbon.
I have an idea. Have you tried fusing the two?
Oh.
Maybe that's the secret. Maybe the first one left out the barbecue.
Now we're talking. It's like the Da Vinci Code. They're trying to hide messages within the TikToks. This is for you. Who was that? Was that Tom Cruise? Not Tom Cruise.
No.
Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
Tom Hanks. Yeah. Okay. Somewhere out there, he's smiling right now. Yeah, it's like they figured it. They finally did. This is fucking awful. It just looks so bad. I was doing so well on my cut. Once I got through the salt, the barbecue chips came back. Now it's gotta get through the olive oil.
There's a fucking dolphin swimming around. What the fuck? Are you fucking kidding me right now?
So much.
I don't want to be going to war with dolphins in the water.
That a little better, that might.
Is that like part of my crew or some shit, bro?
I think the salt.
Fucking
is fine. I
flippers
just
out
don't think
here.
the olive oil will ever add anything positive. I don't either. Can't trust anyone. You used to be able to go on the internet and get good, real advice. You know, good recipe.
We should see if we can get a terrible recipe trending and like people pretend to like it.
The internet used to be a safe place for people to go and just learn and gather better information. It used to be like that. Now it's just a disgusting place. There's a wasteland full of this and terrorists. And fucking OnlyFans. Yep. Woke liberals. Goddamn liberals. Got everything. How long until people say, yeah, that's the recipe right there. Do that again. Yeah, I found the recipe TikTok needs. Yeah, 5 ago. Yeah, that should be ours. We should be like, we figured out a crazy recipe, and it's just like you open up Bluebell ice cream, put 2 scoops in, and fucking eat it. Damn. You're done. Stop putting olive oil on it. Well, it was worth a try. Yeah.
It's finally here. The first Cybertruck in Canada, complete with full self-driving. Yeah, it's actually the half-scale version that we made back in 2019. I guess you could say we beat Musk to market by 4 years. I'll link the whole playlist below. We've got 5 videos showing how we went from idea to creation in less than 8 weeks. Anyway, with real Cybertrucks finally hitting the road, I figured it's about time that we upgrade this thing. Because last I checked my pre-order, I am 80,379th position in line to buy a new Cybertruck. So I might as well upgrade this. Step 1, giving it full self-driving. We're gonna need to work on that. Our half-scale Cybertruck features a full bulletproof stainless steel unibody design. Yeah, we tested it, just like Joe Rogan.
I have a 90-pound compound bow. Broadhead.
We try right now too.
Nothing. We'll spec. It's still stock kit. And for performance, we've got a tri-motor design just like the real one. Motor in the back and 2 in the front. Ours clocks in at over 1,000 foot-pounds of torque. We even out-towed an F-150 with it.